Welcome everybody to the 10th quarterly TWitWoW Q&A. We are closing out the second quarter of 2025, and astonishingly, we only have a grand total of 20 questions to answer today. Now, 15 of those are from Super Blue, and one of the three from Rotten Butter is going to be a big one because it's the sort of like general catch-all, what you been up to lately kind of thing. Um, but still, I mean, I can't imagine this is going to take us more than a couple hours, and I'm definitely ready to get started if you are, John.
Let's do it, partner.
All right, our first question from Super Blue. Why did Joker 2 flop while the first one was a success?
I mean, you and I haven't even watched it, so I really don't have much to say about it on that level. Like, I can't make a comparative analysis having not seen the second one, but I think maybe I think the two complaints I heard, well, I shouldn't say predominant complaints, but only complaints that I heard, so I don't know how big they even were. I don't think people necessarily liked that it was a musical. And then I don't even know if the film had much forward momentum, in terms of like doing anything new or whatever. I think actually one thing I saw was it seemed like a bit of a retread of the first movie, except now you have Harley Quinn, with Lady Gaga in the role. So that was what I heard. I mean, do you have any opinions to give on this?
No, on I think really, truthfully, I think it's probably more of a word of mouth thing than anything. Like the first movie, I think just got really, really positive reviews. I think a lot of people liked it, and that word spread, and so a lot of people ended up going to see it. I also think that the marketing for the first movie was significantly better. I think the marketing for the second movie kind of fumbled, honestly. One of the cool things about the first movie that a lot of people maybe did repeat viewings for was the sort of like what is real and what is just in the Joker's mind kind of aspect. Because I know that there was like a whole thing where the first movie, a lot of the stuff that happened in that movie wasn't really happening. It was all in the Joker's mind. Um, and so that was like probably something that led to a lot of people going back to the theater to rewatch it, trying to figure out like, oh, I think this is real. I think this is in his mind, that kind of stuff. And I think between that and legitimately like the marketing campaign makes a huge difference. I think the marketing campaign for the first movie was incredible, and I think maybe it got like a little bit arrogant, and the second marketing campaign didn't tell you nearly as much and didn't really do as good of a job of selling the audience on going to see the movie again. Plus, there's also like I think a certain level of like superhero fatigue as well. So I think it was a lot of factors, honestly.
Yeah, just to kind of reprise what you said, but in a different way, it almost seems like you're gesturing at, and I would agree, that because the first movie was so successful, they thought that they had enough for just name value. Like it's
Yeah.
Joker 2. We don't really need to peddle much out. And yeah, I could definitely appreciate that viewpoint for sure, for
I
sure.
also, another aspect of it, I think, is that the people, let me phrase it differently. I think the first Joker movie really captured a specific sort of target audience. And it's unfortunate, but I do think that a lot of it was like misogynist types and like
Yeah.
the incel crowd really loved the first movie. And then they added Lady Gaga to the second movie, who is a person that that crowd does not like. So they might have really like a good chunk of the people who really loved the first movie because of that sort of like incel factor might have actively chosen to protest the second movie because of the Lady Gaga thing and the musical thing too. Like even if Lady Gaga specifically wasn't in that role, even if they got sort of like a more incel friendly female actress to portray Harley Quinn, I think making it a musical really goes right in the face of the sort of dude bros that loved the first movie because you just wouldn't get it, man. You know that kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
do think that that plays into it too. I think that a lot of the success of the first movie can be attributed to a very specific niche, a very specific audience of people who would have actively, you know, um, John, I'm failing to remember the word here for when you protest something by actively avoiding buying it or spending money on it. What's the word for that again?
Oh God, I'm failing too, brother. Boycott.
Boycott, boycott. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I'm wondering if a good chunk of the audience that loved the first movie actively chose to boycott the second one because of Lady Gaga and the fact that it's a musical combined. Like it's too gay for them, kind of thing, basically.
say one more thing because I think we've more or less answered this question pretty effectively and economically. Again, and this is coming from having not watched the movie itself, but the trailer. One thing that kind of put me off, and may have put other like diehard comic readers off. It did seem to romanticize the relationship between Harley and Joker, and we know that that's been a problem in the comic lore for years. And the trailer made it seem like two, nonconformist, two like odd people against the world kind of thing.
Yeah,
And it's like, no, he's an abusive piece of shit, right? And that's kind of the problem because when you do frame him in the first movie as a kind of anti-hero because of the class, dynamic and everything else, when you kind of introduce her in the second film, when he was that way in the first film, it's like, well, how do you flip the switch and make him the abusive asshole that he is? So I don't know if the movie did it. It might have. Again, I don't speak with any authority, but the trailer gave the appearance that he didn't, and that they're just too misunderstood, again, nonconformist agitators against a world that would never accept them. And that's, you know, that's why I'll give credit to Marvel for this. Maybe that's why a multiverse is good because you could say, well, that's only one universe variant of many of a Joker Harley relationship, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, I'll give you that one, but still, like, we need to have a talk. But yeah, I
I
think we
also
can.
think that
Yeah,
it goes the other way around in terms of like the incel factor thing, where like the first movie was known as being like an incel movie, so people who might be into musicals and into Lady Gaga might have been less likely to go see the second Joker movie because it's associated with that incel crowd.
yeah.
It's like kind of like they're trying to shift their target audience, and in doing so, they alienate everyone.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's a solid point.
All right, second question from Super Blue. If Trump gets rid of the Second Amendment, will that make MAGA finally realize that they are being played, or was there no hope for them to begin with? So I'm going to actually start on this one because I can honestly tell you, I don't think it's going to take the Second Amendment. I think that a lot of people who were MAGA are already realizing that they were played. I think if we held like a snap election right now, like France can do, I think whoever the Democratic Party ran, I really don't think it matters. They could literally run Biden again. I think they would win in a landslide.
Um, I don't disagree with your answer. I'm just gonna kind of pivot, in another direction. I think whatever Trump's kind of floor is for his approval rating, those are the cultists. And I would say when you find your floor, he could rationalize anything, and they would say, absolutely, let's do it because you really do see that even though he is losing some support with certain MAGA aspects, like especially the people that were genuinely and sincerely, and I say sincerely because I've also seen a lot of backpedaling, if I'm honest, sincerely anti-war. Like that was a genuine conviction they had. Everything with Iran, which I am not getting into unless we're asked about it, was really alienating to them. But yeah, I definitely also think that he has his cultists. And so I think he's always going to have a base of support. It's just a matter of how big is that base. And that I think is something that we're all kind of like figuring out. Because I don't know if his like lower end approval rating is stabilized or not, but whatever that percentage is, yeah, that they wouldn't care, Super Blue. I think they only care about what he wants them to care about because there's no critical thinking there. There's just conformity, enthusiastic conformity at that. And so yeah, they could be guns 1 minute, which is why again I was even telling my sister that he could be such an incredible leader. Like if he did that kind of cult of personality stuff for good. Like imagine if because fuck RFK and everything, he was like, we're doing the Americans Health First Act, AHF or whatever, and it's going to pretty much be universal health care. Then suddenly all these people that think universal healthcare is like this socialistic fucking concept would just be like, oh my God, that's amazing. This is the first president to really care about Americans' health because, cult. So yeah, Ashton's 100% right. I just wanted to add on my side that there is a floor where he does have just absolutely devout zealots in his camp that I think would just go with whatever he wanted to do. So
All right. Third question from Super Blue. If it happens, knock on wood, what is the difference between martial law in South Korea versus the U.S.? I'm wondering if he meant North Korea.
No, I think he mentions how because remember they deposed the president recently. The people like they kind of like because he tried to declare martial
Oh
law and the people weren't
yeah,
having
I
it.
did forget about that, and they actually got managed to fucking get his ass out.
God, do I really want to give my honest asshole opinion about this? I think it's our podcast. If I don't, what's the fucking point? I don't think we have the political consciousness or honestly even the moral fiber to do what South Korea did.
I
Not
agree.
in the numbers that it would take.
I agree.
And
I also
yeah,
think South Korea has a significantly smaller population than us. So
yeah,
like the U.S. population is somewhere around 7 times that of South Korea,
yeah.
um, which means basically that you would need 7 times as many people mobilized to get anything close to that done. And even then, I think the threshold for the number of people, like the percentage of people in the US that would need to mobilize to get anything actually done, is also higher than it would be in South Korea because in South Korea, I'm not necessarily saying that they really listen to their citizens, but they do not have nearly as much of an oligarchy as we do. Um, I mean, don't get me wrong, Samsung basically runs things down there, but even Samsung is like a public facing company that has to listen to its customers to a certain degree. That's definitely not the case here. That's definitely not the case here at all.
And I guess for me, because again, I'm not trying to be too like long-winded on politically based questions, but we have to remember cops are not your friend and the military aren't your friends. So what we need to remember when you look at this military parade that fucking stunk that he threw, and there's even been reports like, oh, was the military giving a silent FU to Trump because they weren't marching in unison? Some of them, they weren't dressed like all, neat and whatever, like, all that stuff. It's performative to me because real resistance would be declining orders. Real resistance would be saying, we can't do this because, again, our oath is to the Constitution or whatever. All the resistance that I've seen, by and large, for the most part, has been performative. And that's what scares me because we have to remember, given that we're anarchists, our definition of the state is, it's the monopoly on the use of force. That monopoly hasn't even been shaken a bit, right? I think it's still very strong in my mind where I sit. And then God knows Democrats aren't doing fucking shit. I mean, Chuck Schumer literally is like, I sent a strongly worded letter, which, I mean, that says it all, doesn't it?
See,
I
yeah,
don't even need
that's
to say
like
anything.
we just had Zoran hopefully win the Democratic primary in New York City. I know a lot of people want AOC to run for president. I think AOC right now, most likely thing that she's going to do is try and unseat Schumer from the Senate.
And I would agree. And the thing about it for me, and like I am the cynic, and honestly, after this last election cycle, I'm never going to apologize for that again. For one thing, they have to come through as best they can. For another thing, when you do things by the established political structure that precipitated this violence to begin with, it takes time to do all this shit. And I really do wonder how much time do we have now? Mamdani, that's the first name of the guy that won the mayoral race for everybody wanting to keep up. Nobody got 50% of the vote in that race, so there's going to be a round two apparently July 1st. I wouldn't be surprised if the establishment still found a way to fuck him over. Hopefully, he would win by a stronger percentage this time, so that we could
Yeah.
just end it. And then he goes on to face Eric Adams. The best thing about his win, and there's a lot of potential upside, but again, enough politicians have disappointed me. I'm not ready to throw in that much just yet. But one thing I can say with certainty is people tilting their fucking face off. I saw one guy post that Eric Adams has to win because, quote, it's the last hope for Western civilization. When these are the fucking people you're dealing with, like, you really need to understand the people you're dealing with for effective praxis. Those people are too fucking far gone to me, or they're too deep in their own racism or whatever the fuck they've got going on. Um, and I feel bad. And another thing too, if anybody in our audience, because I don't know, I don't like to make assumptions, but if anybody in our audience has friendships or ties in the Muslim community, either like in your area or abroad, take care of them. Cause like the Islamophobia is gonna fucking spike. I think it already has spiked with this primary win. And I think the racism is gonna get really fucking ugly, especially under a regime that emboldens that shit. So yeah, to go back to the question of a coup, we don't have the moral courage or the logistics. in my mind. And again, Ashton already said that he agrees. And so I don't know what we can hope for. I guess we'll just have to hope that we still have elections. And that really is
Yeah.
what it comes down to. And that to me is a tenuous hope, but I'd like to be fucking wrong. So there we go. You have anything else you want to say, or can we move on?
Third question. Actually, no, fourth question from Super Blue. Have you ever tried HelloFresh or Blue Apron? And when will they be a sponsor for the channel? I'm just going to nip this in the bud real quick. They're never going to be a sponsor for the channel. Now, John, if you've ever tried either one of them, feel free to share.
If not, we can move on.
Perfect. Next question. Who would win a fight between 100 men versus one gorilla with no weapons? Insanity from Twitter. The gorilla.
Yeah, yeah, I ain't fucking with that. Because again, like you'd have to have the courage to engage the gorilla first, and I think even bum rushing it, like I don't even know if I like those odds. Gorilla, avenge Harambe.
Yes. Sixth question from Super Blue. How do you feel about the return of King of the Hill and its continuation?
King of the Hill for me, it's funny because I've been watching more clips lately on YouTube. It was a show that I did not appreciate enough as a child because I was more of a Beavis and Butthead kid from Mike Judge. I think as I've gotten older, I can appreciate the humor a bit more. But honestly, I was once curious about it. Now I'm just kind of sad because the actor, Jonathan Haas, I think his name was, for John Redcorn, was murdered. And so, that's a bit of a damper. Plus, we already know some iconic voices. The original voice of Dale Gribble, Luann, they're gone. Lucky as well. So I don't know what the new voices would sound like. But then again, it
Oh,
doesn't
you're
really.
talking about Jonathan Joss is the guy's name. I just want to
Jonathan
make that.
Jaws,
Yeah,
thank you,
just for
thank
the
you, thank
record.
you for correcting me. Yeah, thank you for correcting me. I appreciate that. But then again, because I didn't really have a strong relationship with the show, it also doesn't really kind of affect me because I'm not really like so used to those voices, except Dale's, because I really did like Dale as a character. But yeah, I mean, it should be cool. I feel like everybody's doing revivals and whatever, and I just want like new animated stories because I fucking love animation. But I hope people that were fans of it, get their money's worth. Were you a fan of it at any point, bro?
I I don't think I've ever watched a full episode of King of the Hill, to be honest. I would like to check it out, and I know that like the most iconic quote that I actually use in real life is "Damn it, Bobby."
Yes, yes,
You've heard me say that before, just out of nowhere, just because something annoys me.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So yeah, that's. I mean, I've never even really watched the show that much, and I still like it's got that like level of an iconic quote that I just randomly use it sometimes.
yes, absolutely.
All right. So up next, why does Trump want data on every American, and what would he do with it?
I
You
mean,
want the
God,
honest truth? I think he wants data on every American so he can fucking sell it to the highest bidder. Trump's entire goal, his entire paradigm, revolves around him being as loved as possible and getting himself and his rich friends as rich as possible. I don't think that his ambitions go as deep as some other people think they go. I think he's just the epitome of a shallow, greedy sack of shit who was never told no growing up and doesn't know how to take no for an answer and got made fun of by Obama and took it personally and decided to make it everybody else's problem.
boy, did he ever. I don't disagree with Ashton here. I think when it comes to Trump, most immediately, Ashton's correct. I worry more about the people surrounding Trump. I think Peter Thiel doesn't get talked about enough. And
Yes.
one way I get it because, I mean, Elon Musk is such an easy target because he's pathetic and he's also incredibly wealthy. But Peter Thiel, that dude's insane. Like I honestly, here's the thing. I used to fear Musk, and now I'm like, oh, you're just kind of a pathetic sad man who could still do a lot of damage. Make no mistake. But I mean, after Tesla cratered and stuff, I'm like, you know what? You're kind of like a centipede where we ripped off at least 50 of your legs. So have fun with the remaining 50. Peter Thiel, because he's still been very veiled in shadows and like we know him, but we don't know him, right? He scares me because I've said it before. The ambassador to Greenland is a kind of acolyte, kind of a disciple of Teal's, and it seems like that disciple, that ambassador, might also be carrying out his will. Now we haven't done anything to Greenland in a minute, so I will say that I was wrong about that because I really expected that to escalate. But if it would ever ramp up again, remember that Peter Thiel would love Greenland to make it his own libertarian petri dish to kind of do his form of government, which I'm sure that would work out great because Javier Milei of Argentina, I mean, they're boasting an over 50% poverty rate, and people are in clashes with police. But I'm sure it'll work this time, for sure. So yeah, Peter Thiel scares me. I mean, I'm telling you, when you look at it, like, yes, I think it is about personal ego for Trump and enrichment for Trump most immediately. But there are other more rational, in an insidious way, actors around Trump that I really worry what they want to do. Like just to give like a small example, right? You look at how they're trying to gut and change the EPA. The head of the EPA, Mike Zeldin, is called climate change a religion. Terrifying fucking times, as we here in the Northeast. Finally, it's cool in my house today. I'm grateful to be doing this commentary in such a cool house. I feel great, best I've felt all week. But more heat waves are going to come. They're going to get worse, this and that. We're going to be dealing with a lot of problems. Even if we got the science tomorrow, there's still some damages that we're going to have to reconcile with that I don't think we're prepared for on any level, if I'm really being frank with you all. And a lot of my friends, and even some people I respected when I had more of a political blue sky that I since got rid of because I needed to mentally pace myself, were like, well, no, the point is, say you have a plot of land, and then a tornado happens or a heat wave happens or whatever, and it causes massive property damage. That means the assets depreciate. Billionaires can come in, buy it for pennies on the dollar, and privatize it. I do think the goal of the people around Trump is mass privatization and kind of a re-envisioning of the U.S. government and how politics are done. I've even heard some people say that they've gone so far as to invest in like autonomous weapon systems that have been tested in Gaza and Ukraine to use on U.S. citizens in the future. And I don't know if I would go that far, but then again, these people are psychopaths. So it's anybody's guess. But I definitely think when you have a regime with this much concentrated wealth in one place and influence, yes, for Trump, it's very superficial and very, basic. Get rich, be loved. Again, Ashton is not wrong. From my side, again, doing kind of a pivot on the question, I think about the people around Trump, and I think Musk overextended himself. And you see that his trying to get into politics was a disaster for him. I think Peter Thiel's being a lot smarter about it. He's being more subtle. He's being more in the shadows. Palantir, I think, is a terrifying company with what they want to do. And yeah, that's why we've got to resist however we can, even if our pocket of resistance is incredibly small. You can't give them an inch, which is why Democrats are fucking spineless and fucking awful. And yeah, I definitely worry about oligarchy in the future. I mean, because we're in it now. I'm not saying oligarchy happening now. I'm saying I worry about the intensification of oligarchy and what it can do in the future. So that's my thoughts there. Next question.
No, I just wanted to actually double down on the Peter Thiel thing. I think the thing that worries me most as far as Peter Thiel goes is that JD Vance is basically his personal puppet. So if we impeach Trump, then we have him to deal with.
Exactly, yeah. And then pretty much it's like Peter Thiel is president, and
Yeah.
Jesus
And the
fucking
difference is
Christ.
JD Vance doesn't have the ego that Trump has to break up with his billionaire daddy.
Yeah, yeah. No, Vance is scary. I watched a video on him the other night, and it was a great analysis. I won't get into like all the nuts and bolts of it, but yeah, I mean, this dude, he feigns having principles, but I feel like most far right people, he really believes in nothing except the cruelty of politics.
He believes
And
in
yeah,
whatever his billionaire daddy believes in, and that's Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel
yeah,
is literally like living inside his skeleton and moving his body for him.
yeah, yeah. It's scary times. All
All
right,
right.
next question.
If John Cena loses the title at SummerSlam, should he go after the IC title given he's never even challenged for it?
No, no, I think if he loses the title at SummerSlam, which I'm going to say now, I don't expect him to do. Um, I, but entertaining that he would. I think that he would just have to do some other kind of story, either people wanting to make a name off of him, like beating him in a match, so that he goes into a kind of like trying to stop the tide of the future kind of arc of his story before he leaves to keep his status as the greatest, just nice and tight. Or he just goes after the title again because he's really committed to leaving with it. I don't think he goes for a lower tier title because he wants to ruin pro wrestling. You're not going to ruin pro wrestling taking a variant of the Intercontinental title. That's I mean, that belt has gone through so many variants and whatnot, like I don't think it would have as much oomph as leaving with the championship, which is obviously what he's trying to do right now. So no, I think he goes to more stories of like these young guns are so, they're nothing compared to me, and I'm going to expose them. I'm going to make them show their X, right? Kind of thing. And so, yeah, that's what I think would happen.
I really hope that you're right that he doesn't lose the title at SummerSlam because it would be to Cody.
Yeah.
But at that point, who beats him for it?
I see. Here's the thing. I do think Cody. I just don't think at SummerSlam. I think it'll be like
Oh,
some kind of a last chance thing, like down the road. So I
oh,
think it's
okay.
less like, if not Cody, who, and more it is Cody, but when. That's
I
yeah.
I know that he had the whole heart thing, but I still can't shake the feeling that Triple H is going to be the one to beat Cena for the title and save wrestling.
That. Oh my god.
It would just be so quintessentially him. Like no one else here is more of a badass than
Yeah.
me.
God, you're so right.
At least him or maybe Seth. But Seth is in such a good spot as a heel right now. I wouldn't want him beating the current version of Cena. You would almost need like Cody loses to Cena in such a way that like gives Cena his soul back and he starts being a babyface then, and then beloved babyface Cena retains the title all the way through till December, at which point he gets like maybe like Gunther challenging him and Gunther beats him down really bad but still loses and then Seth cashes in on him.
Yeah, God, that undisputed WWE championship. I really do want Gunther to hold that title one day, but I like where you think in the meantime.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
let's move on. How would you rate the factions of Stardom in the first half of 2025?
Oh dear God.
I need to think real quick. I think Stars has to be dead last
I agree.
because they've. I mean, don't get me wrong. Ida and Hanan have been Goddesses champs the whole time, but they lost so much in the first half of this year. It's insane. Like they lost Mayu to Marigold, and then they kicked out FWC on purpose, and it is literally just Hanan, Ida, and Kogo. That is the whole faction right now.
Yeah, and conversely, I was thinking I would still put Neo Genesis at one for me personally.
I
They've
was
still got the
debating
Wonder
between
title.
Neo Genesis and God's Eye. I think if we just take accomplishments into account, you've got to be right. It's got to be Neo Gen.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Neo Genesis for one. So we
Kid's
have
been
Neo
the white
Genesis at
belt
one.
champ the whole time.
Yeah. So Neo Genesis at one, Stars dead last. So do we want to put God's Eye second then? Because you
Um,
said you were debating
I
God's Eye
mean,
and Neo Genesis.
yeah, God's Eye. Here's the thing: if we talk about like achievements, Neo Genesis is the clear one, and then number two becomes a little more ambiguous because Kamitani and Hate. I mean, Kamitani's been the world champ this whole time,
Yeah, that's true.
and she literally retired to Mantha.
Yeah, that is huge and such a gift to wrestling. Huh.
But like nobody else, I don't think, in Hate has held any titles this whole time.
I don't think so, no.
But even then, like in God's Eye, I think the only champions on God's Eye have been I think Rena or no, not even Rena, no. Or Hina, yeah. God's Eye has Hina. So Hina's the future champ, and Waka and Hanako are or no, they're EXV even. So they don't even count. So there aren't that many really champions in God's Eye. It's just a really fucking talented faction. And they got
Yeah.
Ami Sourei back, and now Shuri is the IWGP Women's Champ.
Yes, yes, that is correct.
So maybe I don't know. I would honestly say Hate 2 for Kamitani alone, and then you could slot in God's Eye at 3. Cosmic Angels are barely above Stars because they lost their most powerful player.
Yeah, they did.
And what other?
Uh,
I mean, Vita Loca, I guess, just slots in the middle there, like above Cosmic Angels, but below God's Eye. Or no, EXV would have to be in there too. Do we put EXV? I mean, does EXV even go above Cosmic Angels? They lost Mina and Micah. You can't have an Empress Nexus Venus without an Empress Aura Venus.
I mean, they are the new Blood Tag champs, but that is a really bottom tier belt.
Yeah, that
So
is like the bottom tier belt, I would argue.
yeah, yeah, I think Cosmic Angel's above EXP right now.
Okay, so in order from bottom to top, it's Stars, EXV, Cosmic Angels. Um, I'm forgetting someone.
Wasn't it
Mi Vida Loca. Mi Vida
La
Loca.
Vida
That's what I was.
Loca?
So okay.
Yeah, me
So
Vida Loca. Yeah.
um, Stars, EXV, Cosmic Angels, Mi Vida Loca, God's Eye Hate, and then at the very tippy top is Neo Genesis.
Yeah, that sounds agreeable to me.
All right, moving on. How do you feel about the lineup for the G1 Climax?
Underwhelmed because I've been underwhelmed by New Japan for like what, 5 fucking years? I mean, that's how
Yeah.
long it feels, honestly.
No, you're right.
Uh,
You got to remember, dude. They had a really fantastic Wrestle Kingdom right before the pandemic really kicked into high gear back in 2020. Wrestle Kingdom, what was it, 14 maybe?
Possibly.
It was the fucking I think it was the first 2 day Wrestle Kingdom, and it was the Wrestle Kingdom that had fucking Okada Ibushi. That was, I think, both of our match of the year, and
Yeah.
then Naito. Uh, I think that was Naito winning the titles
Ah, okay. Yeah.
because then he was supposed to defend against Hiramu at, I want to say, Sakura Genesis, but then the pandemic was like, no, you're not. And then he lost the title to fucking Evil after Evil won the New Japan Cup in like July, August ish. So that was literally 2020.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah, that
Super
was
yeah.
5 years ago.
Yeah, Super Blue. I really could not care about the G1 right now, or New Japan for that matter. So I say underwhelmed, but even that's kind of giving too much credit because that would imply that I had some interest that was thereby disappointed, and that's not even true because there just was no interest to begin with. So
Yeah, Zach won the G1 last year, and what's he doing now?
don't remind me, thanks. That still hurts a little. Wow, New Japan. Wow. Yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Unless you have anything you want to add, we can move on.
After losing Chaos, Lij, and Just Five Guys, is it time to kill the remaining factions in New Japan?
Yeah, I almost wonder if New Japan being a faction-based promotion, which I love the concept of that, and that's why I still kind of fucks with stars. But I almost wonder if it's time for New Japan to just be a promotion with just individuals, and obviously still tag teams and stuff, and maybe one or two factions, but that's like more of a unique thing. I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
pretty much what it is at this point. Like the only real factions are the Bullet Club and its variants, and like everyone else. It's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think it's time to pack it up. So, you know. Yeah, really nothing else to say about New Japan. I mean, you could see how my voice and just anything just died. Like I am so disconnected from that company.
How do
So
you feel about Trump's parade being a failure while the No Kings protest was a success?
um, I'm always the more cynical hard ass. Why don't you give this one? I'm sure you'll have something better to
No,
say
no,
about it than I would.
I'm just as cynical as you on this one. I think it's neat that the No Kings protest was so big, but it needs to be bigger for anything to happen coming off of it. Um, right now, it feels already like a thing of the past. Like it feels like it's already dissolved into the people's memories, and it's just kind of, yeah, that happened. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, like, look again. I shouldn't really bite my tongue anymore because I mean we're in deep fucking shit right now, and I think honesty is the only way we get to anything. On one hand, I think it is amazing, and it definitely makes for a breathtaking visual to see how opposed he is by the numbers, right? But here's the thing, and I do have to agree with a colleague of mine, um, who is in Canada, and I know he's like mentally burnt out because I'm kind of sick and tired of your country threatening my country, which totally fucking fair, right? He said the protests like this don't matter unless there is this kind of implied or implicit promise of future escalation if you don't capitulate, right? Like we're marching today and we're peaceful today, but if you don't cut down ISIS quota, and that's like a bare bones ask in my mind, but I'm being realistic. If you don't cut ISIS quota down from 3,000 to pick some arbitrary fucking number because fuck ICE anyway, but I know we don't live in that world. We're gonna start destroying shit. We're gonna start, maybe a general strike is next where we won't go to work. We won't make your fucking money, whatever. I don't even know why people are paying taxes right now for fucking what. Like I saw an image recently about Iran and Israel that was so perfect because it was the Israel side of the rocket saying my tax dollars, and then the Iran side of the rocket saying also somehow my tax dollars. And somebody quote tweeted that and said, I just wanted fucking healthcare. Right. And so at this point, we can do the mass protests, we can do all of these performative acts, and there is a value in them if it engenders hope and other people bearing witness to them. Like Mamdani's win, right? I'm still cynical about it if I'm honest, but I love the hope that it's given people, and I love how much it's making the far right tilt their fucking faces off. Because one thing I'll agree with, kind of a left of liberal Kyle Kalinske on. I don't think he's not a hard communist. He describes himself as democratic socialist. I would say more social democrat, but we're not getting into that. He is right about when the right are even losing a little bit, they tilt their faces off and they show you how insane they are. So it's not that there isn't any value in this kind of stuff, but if the goal is long term structural change and being a true organic oppositional force to an aspirational autocracy, you've got to do more. And I know I've said this for years, and it's easy for me to say it in the comfort of my home, a disabled man that's never even going to pick up a musket, let alone any contemporary fucking weaponry. But there's got to be a promise of revolutionary force if demands aren't met. Because if that promise isn't even implied, what are they to fear? So you went to a designated spot to protest, you listened to police, you went home and you watched Netflix. Right? Like where is the threat there? If you know that you're still controlling all the pieces, even when you feel like you're being oppositional, I don't see how anything gets done. So, yeah. But again, I've made a friend also in Canada recently. She's very wonderful. I love the phrase that she used. So, this is entirely her. She said, a lot of people in America, you're edging class consciousness. It's like you're right fucking there, but you won't step over that line to really get there. And I think she's absolutely right. I mean, I was talking to a liberal friend of mine recently, Ashton, you know who it is, but I don't want to say names. And we were talking about Trump's bombing of Iran. And I said, well, you got to blame Obama for this too, because there is a precedent of people striking the Middle East without proper approval. And Obama did that with Libya. He did not get congressional approval with Libya. And then he was like, yeah, but he got UN approval. And that kind of tells you the liberal psychology in a nutshell. They don't really like, you can bomb people, you could starve children, whatever, but you got to follow the norms and procedures. Oh, it's a shame that they, starved the people in whatever country, Afghanistan, say, but at least they filed the form W2B786K, to do it. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about? So, yeah, I'm just very jaded. I'm very jaded. I'm very disaffected. And, obviously we need to do what we can. We need to show solidarity where we can. And I've tried to show solidarity with more liberals, but like, it is hard. It's hard because I still think they believe like, oh, Kamala can save everything when it's neoliberalism that got us here in the first place. No doubt Kamala would have been better. I'm not saying she wouldn't have been better, but she's still a neoliberal politician, and that precipitated the conditions for this fascism to happen.
Yeah.
We need a richer political imagination, guys. That's the fundamental problem. And then my liberal friend disagreed with that. Oh, I don't think we need a problem of imagination. We need to get rid of the billionaires. But do you realize the lack of imagination is why we haven't done that yet? Because we still think on some level, oh, billionaires are good. Even Democratic establishment people are fucking like, we need to show billionaires that we care about their values. No, I fucking don't. I don't give a shit if billionaires are unhappy. Fuck you. But like, we're so fucking fragmented, and that's why I really have no hope of anything. So, yeah, that's my fucking cynicism. So,
I have nothing to add. I'm going to move us on. Who has the best ass finisher in wrestling currently? Asuka, Jada Parker, Naomi, someone else, or Ryusuke Taguchi?
Actually, with the way she fucking destroyed Raquel with it, I have to say Asuka. I would have said Naomi up until Asuka happened, but I don't even think Naomi's using like the rear view as a finish anymore. So I'm just gonna say Asuka.
Jada Parker for me.
You know what? Fair.
Not
Hypnotic is
only
legit.
does Hypnotic look great as a finisher, the way that she really throws her hip into it, but that name. Oh my god, that name is so good.
Really good. It is really good. You are not wrong about
What do
that.
we call a hip attack that puts motherfuckers to sleep? Hypnotic? Yeah, sign me the fuck up, please.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. There
Yeah,
you go.
I just love that. Next up, it's our penultimate Super Blue question. What would it take for you, or what would it take to get you to live react to a WWE Saudi Arabia show, or will you just triple down and continue to boycott them no matter what?
I mean, I'm me, so tripling down definitely seems like the thing I would do.
I
Yeah,
mean,
tripling
yeah,
down.
let's honestly, what do you expect, Super Blue? We are not just choosing not to react to these matches because we don't like them. We're choosing not to react to them out of a moral stand. Like we're trying to have some integrity here. The fact that we even react to WWE at all is already kind of a moral compromise for us. So yeah, no,
Thank you
you're
for saying
never
that
gonna.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you're never gonna get us to react to a Saudi Arabia show. That's even more banned than Rev Pro, and we will not react to a Rev Pro show either. So
Yeah, Super Blue, I really have to thank these WWE Saudi shows actually, because anybody that knows me when I let the masks evolve a little knows that I have like really major self-esteem issues from childhood trauma. So I don't really like myself very much, but it really says something about me that even I like myself enough and respect myself enough to be like, nah, hard pass. Oh man, fuck me. All right, final Super Blue question.
are you ready for the new season of South Park?
I think we both are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I welcome them for sure.
My
It's gonna
mom
be
just
fun.
yelled over, she can't wait either. Yeah, it's really exciting. We are 2 Wednesdays away from the new season of South Park.
It's gonna be a fun time. We're gonna have ourselves a time.
Everyone sees what you did there.
They should. That
All right, we've got our
yes.
super blue questions out of the way, and now we can get to our rotten butter questions, which, as always, starts with things and stuff and things. What have you been watching, reading, listening to, playing over the course of the last 3 months?
Let me fucking take the lead on this space. First of all, okay. My energy was way too high there. I apologize.
It was perfect. Don't apologize.
But yeah, no, I've been doing stuff with the family. So we watched the this great reality show on Peacock because even I enjoy a little bit of brain rot every now and again. House of Villains, which was a lot of fun. We were in the midst of season 2 when I learned that Iran got bombed by the U.S. So I'm like, oh man, so that show's definitely gonna stick out in my mind for a lot of reasons. But yeah, the season 1 was fun, and season 2 looks like it's gonna be promising. You and I mean, we've been watching a shit ton of stuff. We rewatched Dun and On season 1. I can't wait for season 2. Oh my god, I love it so much. We're currently watching The Bear. Hopefully, we're going to be able to finish season 4 tonight because this is going to be a very brief Q&A. Clearly, let's see what I mean. We watched some movies. We watched The Tiger's Apprentice, and then we watched what was it? Lost in Starlight, I think.
Yes, I loved Lost in Starlight so much.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was a fun one. Um, God, I mean, see, the only weird thing about Q&As being so spaced out is sometimes I get like periods mixed up. You know what I mean? Like, did we do this thing this period or was it last period? Because I know you wasn't this period. That was last period, but you for whatever reason just keeps coming up in my mind. But that again, we
So
already did that.
here's the thing: you're actually incorrect about that. Our you rewatch was this period.
Are you fucking serious? Holy shit. Okay,
Dude,
then yeah.
you got to
Yeah.
remember, it's 3 months. We go all back to April.
Yeah.
You season 4, or no, it was 5. Air dropped on April 24th.
Yeah, holy fuck it. I'm glad I remembered it then. I mean, you probably would have, but I'm glad I shouted it anyway. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Um, I will say on music, I should tell you guys what I did recently because it's actually worked out so well for me, especially because you guys know that I've been more in like an instrumental phase. I got the Shazam Chrome extension. It has been so good for me.
I
'Cause
love Shazam, dude. I use Shazam on my phone so often. We'll just be in the car listening to something and like, oh, who is this? Who sings this song? And I'm like, yeah, let me fucking Shazam it. Yeah.
dude, that's what I've essentially been doing on the computer. Like the Bear the soundtrack they used in The Bear last night when they were really getting their shit together as a restaurant and the new hirees from the old restaurant that Richie worked at came in. I actually found the name of that. That was actually a song used by Michael Mann, who directed this movie in the 1980s called Thief. I think it's called Tangerine Dream. And
Wow.
yeah, I was listening to that last night. I love this Shazam extension. That professor skit that Rotten Butter already shared, but then I tried to
Yes.
share. There's a point where there's like this really amazing violin instrumental. I used Shazam on that. That was a bit more difficult to find with Shazam, but it gave me like a starting point. And yeah, I actually was able to find it. So I'll still credit Shazam for the dub. I've used it for Dun 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 when there were certain tracks that I liked, and they helped me find those. Yeah, it's been fantastic. Um,
Dun, 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 dun.
Never Tell, Never Tell released a new single. They're actually going to have an album coming out in September that I'm really psyched about. Never Tell's a great fucking group of like rock and rap. I love them. I think speaking of music, I think Sleep Token's album was this quarter. Oh my god, their fucking album. I think that's my album of the year. I love so many tracks from that fucking album. Yeah, I know people complain. Sleeve Token is in metal. It's good music. What? Why do you give a shit? Like, relax your ass. Right? Your sphincter is so tight right now. Loosen it a bit. Let things happen. Maybe not in there. I get that that's uncomfortable, but let things happen. Okay? Jesus. Yeah, Sleep Token's fucking great. Love their album. I've also, God, there was another like guy I found. I wanted to listen to more of his music, but I really wasn't feeling it. Oh, speaking of the bear, actually, there was another song, MK.G. Are You Looking Up? And it was the song that was playing when the Facts and Carmi were kind of crushing boxes outside. And the
Nice.
Facts were like, are you? They were talking about the curse, remember? Or like if they were
Yeah.
being, it was like a haunt.
Have you ever been haunted?
Yeah, exactly. And there was a song playing in the background. I'm like, man, I fucks with this. Well, that's the artist, MK.G. Are You Looking Up? And G is GEE. So like, maybe I'm even pronouncing it wrong. Could be Gee for all I know. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was a song by them. Are You Looking Up? And I'm like, man, I fucks with this. So yeah, Shazam has been. If anybody's a music nut like Ashton, especially as an I am in my own way, I think everybody loves music on some level. It's so fucking beautiful. If it wasn't for music, I don't even know if I could survive on this planet, truthfully. Um, yeah, you want to get the Shazam extension for Chrome. It is fantastic. It is really, and you already heard Ashton vouch for it on his phone. It's great. And also, if you're like, the site TuneFind, if you're really liking stuff for movies and TV shows, is also great. I've definitely used that as well. So yeah, music was a good period. I'm probably even forgetting some stuff. It's just, yeah, Sleep Token was the really big thing. Vortex's album might have also been this quarter, but I'm less sure about that. That was also really good. So yeah, games. I mean, still just Brawlhalla and Rocket League for Ash and I. Although I did get back into Fire Pro a little bit. I will say about games, because I know this isn't the point of the question, but I don't think Ron Butter gives a shit. I actually, bro, I got to tell you, I can't believe that the left lost on video games to the fucking right wing, because the left has so much more material between microtransactions and like unreleased games, and then you just kind of repackage the content that should have been in the game as DLC and all this shit. Like, we had so many fucking joints to attack, and we lost because, oh, this game is too, feminist or whatever. Like, I really, like, it melts my brain once a week, honestly. But I say all of this to say that I'm a huge fan of the Hitman games, and I was looking at a Hitman Assassination, and I was ready to pay like a primo fucking price for that game. I'm thinking like upwards of like 100, because it would just be so comprehensive. But apparently, like, the buying model and everything is so convoluted. Literally, I had to consult 2 different subreddits to even know how I should buy this fucking game.
Right.
Now, tell me what world we live in where that makes sense, right? Like, that's insane. How about you just buy a game directly and enjoy it? That just be how it is. So yeah, I've been maybe kind of side eyeing some games, kind of, although I'm still very much a book guy. Which, speaking of books, since Ron Butter was like that, I've just been reading. God, I really need to get back into Dubois. I miss him so much, but it's so long. That's what she said, but not really. I'm reading Pascal currently, and it's insufferable. I actually might hate someone worse than Aristotle, and I never thought I'd say it, and it kind of makes me feel dirty saying it, but he's just so Christian and so preachy about it. Fuck. It's like,
The way you
oh,
said that popped me.
it should, because like I hate it. And like, oh, the philosophers are just miserable. Man, fuck you. You don't know my life. If I'm miserable, it's not because of philosophy, it's because of childhood trauma. You don't know me. Stop assuming things about me. I will fuck your face, and not in a way you'll like it. So yeah, I've been primarily reading Pascal. I've also been reading some anti-enlightenment philosophers. Why, you ask? Well, because we're in an anti-enlightenment moment. And I'd like to know the intellectual currents that have inspired this fucking movement. I'm trying to read I think Maestro is how you pronounce his name. He was a Catholic kind of philosopher, a rationalist philosopher, and he believed that if you had abortions, that you should just, be murdered. So wow, he'd fit in great with this fucking time period. So yeah, I'm really your boy. Like, I still love it, but there is a dark undercurrent to the history of thought, and I am swimming in it, and I might drown, and that's okay. That's okay. Um, Beyond that, let me think here what I have done, and also thinking about what we have done together that I can name. So that gives you less to, rattle off. And then I'll be like, oh my God, I forgot that. Yeah, you clearly did. Get your shit together. Fuck. Um, we haven't done our partial Squid Game rewatch yet. That's coming up though. What
Yeah, I
other?
think Squid Game season 3 literally drops tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. The excellence of your face drops always, so you don't have to wait for that because it's already happening.
Aww.
Yeah, I'm so weird.
You're
Um,
so adorable and precious.
yay. So no, just watching wrestling. I mean, I did watch a bit of TNA, mainly Ali and him being excellent, which I need to catch up on because apparently Order 4 got mouthy and they're like, you, yeah, good luck without me, jobbers. Fuck you. Um, Philosophy is my happy place, bestie. I'm just reading Dark Thinkers right now, and really just very preachy ones. Oh, find God, yeah, find your own ass. Um, Let me think here. You know what? I'm hemming and hawing. Maybe I should just give you the reins. Maybe I need to concede. Yeah, because it's also just been like news consumption. I've wanted to do more like political podcasts and stuff. I miss enjoying a good podcast, you know? In fact, that's something I want to ask you. Not done to kind of take control of how you're answering this question. I just need to check in with you. How many podcasts would you say you listen to that are like in your rotation? Are you even like a podcast guy?
2.
Like right now?
Did you not hear me? I said 2.
Two. Oh, I thought you made a sound and you were thinking about it, so I didn't know that that was an actual ad. So what two do you listen to?
I listen to Wrestling with Freddie, which is the Freddie Prinze Jr. pro wrestling podcast, and I don't listen to that super duper often. That's like every now and then the mood will strike, and I'll listen to a few episodes in a row, and that's about it. And
Yeah,
then the
okay.
other one, the only other podcast that I really listen to is the Nate the Hate podcast, which is literally just I don't know if you're even familiar with Nate the Hate or if you've ever heard of Nate the Hate before, but um, he is basically just like a games industry insider who will occasionally put out an episode of a podcast to like let people know like, hey, this thing's coming up and here's what I think's going to happen as far as like video game stuff goes. Like he was one of the first people who knew exactly when the big Nintendo Switch 2 direct was going to happen to announce the Switch 2. He let everyone know when that was going to happen and he fucking nailed it. And he puts out very few, like he grand total this year so far 2025, he's put out 6 episodes so far. So that gives you an idea of the drop rate. And there were actually just 2 episodes that dropped earlier this month. So 2 episodes in a single month is a pretty big deal for him.
Yeah. Actually, I'm so glad I asked you because you jogged my memory on something. I watched with the family some episodes of because they were watching a lot without me, which I told them they could do. It wasn't like the three of us thing, but I joined in, because it is a show where I don't think you need to watch it linearly, at least in my opinion. I watched a bit of Nathan for You. I gotta say, definitely a fan. His brand of comedy, I don't know what everybody's cringe threshold is, but whatever it is, he will try his damnedest to break it. I think there was only, of all the episodes I watched, there was one time where I actually legitimately hid in my own shirt. I pulled my shirt up over my head and I'm like, tell me when it's over. But he
Oh
found it.
God, that sounds like hell to me.
Yeah, I enjoy it though. I'll tell you, like, I like his brand of comedy. I do. And it made me appreciate when he did The Curse with Emma Stone, even more. But yeah, he definitely isn't. I mean, it's funny because the show is Nathan for You, but he's definitely not for everyone. Some people are gonna be like, look, I can respect what he's trying to do. It's just not for me. I pass. Other people probably fucking love this dude and what he's trying to do. But yeah, it's you know what? I would watch just a episode. Pick one at random that sounds good to you. Watch it if you've never seen it and see how you feel. Because again, there was only one time where I was really like, oh God, hiding in my shirt. Otherwise, though, I was definitely uncomfortable at times, but I rocked with it. So yeah, Nathan Free was another thing we did. And also part of his other show, The Rehearsal. Oh, how could I fucking forget? My family and I, we did Mobland as far as TV and shows. Fucking goddamn. That was fantastic. I'm forgetting the one actor's name. I mean, Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren, but then the other guy Tom Hardy. I gotta be honest. Ash and I have watched all the Venom movies, and we've watched Dark Knight Rises, and Bane's just iconic. But what he played in Mobland, I even forget his character's name. I think it was
Tom
Harry.
Hardy?
Tom Hardy. Yeah, I think that was my favorite Tom Hardy role. I fucking loved him in that show. He had me fucking laugh because he was just the quietly menacing type. Like you knew he could fucking kill you, and he'd come in and be like, "So here's what I want you to do, right? You're gonna go, and the cops are gonna come, and you're gonna tell them that nothing happened, okay?" But he's just so calm about it the whole time. It's just like you're having a conversation with a friend. It's like, okay, yeah, yeah, I could tell the cops that. Yeah. A question though, if I don't do that, if I want to go, oh, you'll break both my. Okay, that's bad. So yeah, no, I'll do what you want. That's fine. And it's just it's great. And there's one character in there that's such a little fucking shit. I wanted him to die the whole time. Unfortunately, he did not. So my bloodlust continues unsated, and that bothers me a little. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, Pecker.
Dude, god damn it. But yes, yes, absolutely. I think I'm good here. I think I like where we're at with everything. So I'm gonna hand the baton to you, you beautiful fucking face, and now you list things. So what did you do, and what did we do together that I didn't recap?
Oh, buddy, there's a lot. Okay. Personally, for me, I have spent a vast majority of the last few weeks playing Pokemon Scarlet on the Switch 2 on my TV because I've had a 4K TV for 4 years now, and yet the Switch has been incapable of taking advantage of that full resolution the entire time. Switch 2, I got it literally the day of release, June 5th, because I pre ordered it back in May, or maybe even I think I actually pre-ordered it the day that pre-orders went up. I don't remember the exact day that was. I pre-ordered it on Best Buy, and I actually was able to get that through on the literal day that it went up for pre-order. I felt very fortunate that I was able to do that, and that they didn't try and like fuck around with it. Like I know that there were people having their pre-orders canceled, and I was lucky to not be one of them. Got the Switch 2 day it released, and played Mario Kart World for a few hours and really enjoyed that. But then I put in Pokemon Scarlet, and oh my god, the improvement is astounding from Switch 1 to Switch 2 on those games. It did have to download the like Switch 2 upgrade patch thing, but holy shit, talk about worth it. Uh that game feels like a remaster on the Switch 2, honestly. There are a few games that were Switch games that look and feel like a remaster on the Switch 2. I think a lot of it has to do with the frame rate going from 30 to 60, and the thing is with Scarlet, with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, they're frame capped at 30, but most of the time they aren't running that high. Most of the time they're running below that. And even more often, assets that are in the background are running at an even lower. Like there's a like if you get far away enough from something on the Switch in those games, it's not a matter of frames per second, it's a matter of seconds per frame. It's that bad. And I'm not exaggerating. Anyone that's played the game will tell you. Like literally one of the first big cutscenes in the game, you go into a school and there are little kids sitting at their desks with their legs like kicking, like rocking forward and backward. And if you're on the original Switch, that is like 4 frames a second animated. On the Switch 2, it's just smooth. There's no like hitches. There's no like yeah, it's just perfectly smooth. There you can just see the little kids kicking their legs. It's amazing. And like the big windmill in the one town, I think it's called Artisan. The windmill, if you get far away from it, that's where it's like seconds per frame rather than frames per second. In the Switch 2, it's just smooth. If you're close enough that you can see it, it's rotating at a smooth frame per second rate. Um, there is a fuck ton more Pokemon spawning, which I've actually found to be more of a nuisance than a good thing. But I'm not a shiny hunter. There are people who will use that as a way to find more shiny Pokemon, and that's cool for them. But for me, it's just a matter of getting overly crowded and having to deal with a bunch of encounters I don't want. So it's more annoying than anything, but totally worth it. I have two game saves going on right now. One of them I exclusively play for my mom. Like on the TV, I play while she watches, and she absolutely loves it because she just loves seeing all the different new Pokemon. Because she has been like out of touch with the Pokemon franchise since like Gen 2 ish. She was very familiar with the Gen 1 Pokemon, and then she was barely familiar with Gen 2, and then she just knows nothing after that. So her getting to see all these new Pokemon is really exciting for her. And the way that I'm playing the game is really fun for me because I'm specifically building up full teams designed to beat whoever my next big opponent is, whether it's Gym Leader or Titan or Team Starbase or whatever. And then my second game save, I'm literally just trying to be as efficient as possible. Like if I know that there's a Pokemon that can sweep the next gym, I will just catch them and not even train them and just use them, and it'll just work. So I'm really just doing two different styles of play on that. Um, I also played a little bit of The Messenger on Steam. Fucking love that game. I will be finishing that game very soon, and especially because then I know the sequel to it is Sea of Stars, and I've wanted to play Sea of Stars for feels like years now. That game just looks exceptional to me, and I really want to play it. And I do own it now. I did buy it. Um, Aside from that, though, I haven't really been playing games that much, just because it's been Scarlet the whole time mostly. I will say before I got my Switch 2, I was getting a lot more into modded Minecraft again because I figured out a way to fix a glitch that had been preventing me from playing modded Minecraft for years. So that's fun. That's about it though. John and I have just been doing Brawlhalla and Rocket League. In terms of watching stuff though, oh my god, John, we've watched so much stuff in the last 3 months. It's crazy.
Dude, I know.
We finished rewatching the first two seasons and then enjoyed the third season and then found out that it got canceled. Wheel of Time.
Oh, dude, you're right. It's a real compliment to a fantasy series when like that hurt me because I'm not really much for the fantasy genre. You know that, but I think Wheel of Time did it better than anything I've seen. That's such a. I really hope another network picks it up. But
Yeah.
continue.
It would be so perfect for Apple TV Plus, honestly. Just all of the other streaming services already kind of have their big fantasy series. Apple TV Plus doesn't. I really
Apple
want
T, yeah,
yeah, I really want
yeah.
them to go there.
Apple TV Plus might low key be the best streamer like on
Yeah,
in the
because
market
I
right
know
now.
you love Severance and you've been recommending that to me for a while, and we've been absolutely loving some of the other content on there. I mean, The Gorge was a good movie that was on there, but that was last quarter. That wasn't this quarter. Um, the
Said
studio, the studio was this quarter.
Yes, you're right. And also for me personally, I did watch the first episode. I've wanted to get back into it, but again, reading and priorities and time. But I watched John Hamm's newest big show, Your Friends and Neighbors from Apple TV Plus.
Nice.
First episode was solid. I think I really do want to get back in it, and it's been confirmed for season two. So if I get back on the horse, there's good stuff waiting for me there. I know it's not canceled, but again, this is your turn, so continue.
So there were a lot of movies that we watched that were just not memorable this quarter. The Electric State was one of them.
That feels like a lifetime ago. Holy shit.
That was yeah, that was. We actually watched The Electric State before we rewatched the first four seasons of You, so that's why it feels like it's so long
Wow, that's crazy.
ago. We also this another sort of forgettable movie that we watched this quarter. Um, Back in Action.
Oh yeah, I think I vaguely remember that one.
That was the Jamie Foxx Cameron Diaz spy movie.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I didn't care for that one too much.
And I think that same night, actually, we watched Love Hurts, which was also kind of forgettable, unfortunately.
We, yeah, we did. You're right, because apparently, like, I didn't recall it, so I can't be like you're wrong. Because no,
Yeah.
I literally I didn't. Yeah, so there
I
you
mean,
go.
you already mentioned The Tiger's Apprentice, but I would group that in with the more forgettable movies that we've watched.
Yeah, I would agree.
Can't say the same for Lost in Starlight, though. I fucking love that movie. That movie was
Yeah,
fantastic.
dude, from the jump, you were like, this movie is gorgeous. From an aesthetic point of view, I have never heard Ashton rave as much about like the aesthetics of a film as much as I've heard you rave about like
Dude,
Lost in Starlight. You love
I
that movie.
love 2D animation so fucking much. Like, you gotta
I think
realize.
you're gonna hop on that Disney movie if they return to 2D animation, like the kind of rumbling at the company. Like, yeah, we might have to check that out together. Whatever movie they come out with,
For
just for the art
sure.
style
I mean,
alone.
dude, we've got Elio coming out here in not too long. It might even be out already. And that's a 3D animated movie, but I know we're both excited to see that as well.
Yeah, I actually speaking of Disney's 2D animation, I was randomly watching YouTube clips from The Princess and the Frog,
Yeah,
and I just want to say that Keith David is a gift to this fucking planet.
he's
Cause
great.
like he was the voice of the villain, and then it made me think about his time as like Spawn. So then I watched the Spawn trailer for Mortal Kombat 11, and I used Shazam again because the background track for that kicked ass. So like yeah, everything I've been doing this month kind of coalesced into one little experience. But yeah, Keith David, you are a fucking gift, sir. We love you.
Love the
Um,
fucking Voodoo Man. That dude's great.
Oh hell yeah! I just need a little more time. Oh man, what a great villain. Uh,
In terms of shows, my God, that's where it really kicks into because we've been holding off on a lot of movies. Oh, you know what? I will say another sort of forgettable movie actually that we watched this quarter was Captain America: Brave New World.
But yeah, I really didn't care for that one, man. Yeah, you're
It
right. It was
was
forgettable. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it. I think that the general consensus, even that we kind of observed on our own independently, was that it feels less like Captain America 4 and more like the Hulk 2.
Yes.
It felt more like a Thunderbolt Ross movie than a Sam Wilson movie, and I think that's pretty gross, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but in terms of shows, this is where we went fucking crazy this quarter. We went nuts because I already mentioned Wheel of Time. You already mentioned you, dude. Daredevil Born Again season 1 was this quarter.
Also feels like a lifetime ago, bro.
It
That's
does.
crazy.
It does. And I'll be the first one to say too, I wasn't a big fan of that either. I thought the Daredevil Born Again was a huge step down from the quality of the first 3 seasons of Daredevil that were on Netflix.
Feel like Cosmonaut Variety Hour echoed your sentiments perfectly because when he talked about how there were different directors and hands, like the certain episodes were done by the guys that were on the original property,
Yeah,
and then the new people were more Disney people, and you
yeah,
could tell the difference. I feel like that spoke to your soul because I even remember you when we were watching that video being like, "Yes!" Like you finally were like
yeah,
heard and understood.
yeah,
Because I think you could tell the difference too. Was your
yeah.
thing, and yeah,
I didn't even
hopefully,
realize
yeah.
that I was like noticing that, but once he really like outlined what was going on, I was like, oh my god, yeah, that makes so much sense. That explains everything.
The bank robbery episode was the best one I think in that series for me.
I
Because
loved
yeah,
that episode, and it's funny because I'm pretty sure that episode was done by the more Disney people.
and that's the funny because like I don't know, man. I don't necessarily mind like the whole Foggy dying plot, especially when Jessica broke it down in a later video for New Rock Stars. But for you to start that in like the first 10 minutes, what a mood killer! I don't know if I ever got mentally right after that. To be perfectly honest with you, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this is what we're
I'm
doing.
excited, but also there's a part of me that's worried that they're going to fuck up the Punisher stuff too. Because the Punisher is getting his own like short film type thing later this year, I believe. And the
Yeah.
Punisher is going to be in the next Spider-Man movie as well. And I just don't fuck it up, please.
Honestly, and you're right, it is possible, but John Bernthal's so fucking good that even a fucked up version with him acting it, I'm like, you know
That's
what?
fair.
This is sir because I don't even care that he's like liberal, whatever. As far as acting goes and focusing purely on the merits, I think he's one of my favorite actors working today. That
Yeah.
dude is so fucking captivating on screen. Holy shit. Continue, good sir.
We finished St. Denis Medical this quarter.
It's a good one. I'm actually looking forward to season 2 of that one. I enjoyed
I'm
that one.
hoping that season 2 starts in the fall, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Then we rewatched the first 3 seasons of and watched the fourth season of two different shows. Love, Death, and Robots is a big one.
This volume was decent. This most recent one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there were a few episodes this volume that I loved. And then Righteous Gemstones is the other one that we had that exact same pattern with, where we rewatched the first three and then watched four.
What a show and what an ending. Again,
I
speaking of,
fucking
yeah,
loved Righteous Gems. I feel like they really nailed it. They stuck the landing.
I think it's going to go down as one of the more underrated shows in like the last few years. And
Yeah,
speaking of actors, since I gave Keith David his flowers earlier, John Goodman is also a gift to this planet. I
he's
love John
fantastic.
Goodman.
Yeah, John Goodman was awesome. I loved him in season four. He was great in season four.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. The studio. We haven't. I mean, I mentioned it earlier, but we haven't really talked about how good the studio was.
I gotta tell you, like, I was just annoyed with Seth Rogen's character the whole time.
Dude, I
but
was gonna say, like, you talk about Nathan for you really pushing the buttons on like someone's cringe meter. I feel like Matt in the studio was like the exact same thing in a different way. Cause like
yeah,
he's not trying to make you cringe on purpose the way that Nathan does, but he just is so narcissistic and so insecure and so like egomaniacal that every single fucking decision he makes you want to bash your head in against a wall.
yeah. Definitely.
But from an artistic, stylistic, cinematography point of view, the studio is fucking incredible.
I was impressed by some of the guest stars and stuff that they got, and I like the cat. Like we got to see Catherine Hahn again, which it's nice when you get so
She's
used to an actor or
fantastic.
actress.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's fantastic because when you get used to an actor or actress from like the MCU, or I'm sure pretty soon we'll be saying that about the DCU because James Gunn doesn't seem to be fucking around, and I love that for
Yeah.
him. It's nice to see them in other properties, and so seeing Catherine Hahn in this kind of environment, like, yeah, she's wonderful.
Can
I
we
love her.
also address they got Martin fucking Scorsese for an episode?
Dude, I would that one shocked me because I'm like, wow. And the way they used him was crazy. I'm like, what?
Scorsese in an acting role is just such a rare thing. You just don't see it very often. But yeah, he was in the studio. It was a great episode too. One of the better
Yeah.
episodes, honestly. I loved that one. That was fucking hilarious. Another show that we rewatched. Actually, I don't even think we watched. I don't think we did a or we might have. I just don't remember. Uh, The Last of Us.
Rest of us, yeah. Yeah, on it, dude. The hate season 2 has been getting like I didn't hate season 2.
Wait,
I guess for
really? Is getting hate?
dude, there have been people that have been like, what the fuck have they done to The Last of Us? Now, I feel
Oh
like
my
I'm
god.
not as visceral because I never played the game. So I'm like, it doesn't really mean fucking anything to me. I'm just looking at it on the basis of it being a show. And I still really like Bella Ramsey and just the larger cast. I enjoyed season 2. I didn't have any fucking qualms with it.
Yeah.
Um, I need to check something because we're talking about shows. I might have omitted a big thing for me. And if I did, I need to take the ball back very quickly to talk about it.
Okay.
But I need to make sure. What the fuck? Come on. I just want a date for when this all happened. Um, Trying to think of season 7 of Black Mirror when that dropped. Because our grading period for this, or I say grading period, but our period for this Q&A, what does that extend to? Because I'm
It includes
curious.
April, which is when season 7 dropped.
I'm like, okay, so I just need to say very quickly, I'm so glad that I thought to even think of this. I think my favorite season in years of Black Mirror. If you're into sci-fi and you're okay with an anthology series, yeah, this is going to be the one that brings you back. And this season, I couldn't believe it because I never thought anything would usurp 15 million merits. This latest season had my new favorite Black Mirror episode of all time, Eulogy. Fucking bawled my eyes out at the fucking end. Yeah, Black Mirror this quarter fucking kicked ass. So I just wanted to interject that. And yeah, the studio, great show. Shocked that they got Martin Scorsese for an episode, but I know you probably kept like a list or a tab of everything we watched. So what else that I've clearly forgotten about did we watch this quarter?
Big Mouth season 8.
Again, another beauty. That ending was more beautiful than it any right to be. I think the more I've thought about it, the more I love it.
Yeah.
Big Mouth was a great show. Yeah, yeah, definitely a
I'm
big winner for
honestly
Netflix.
still disappointed that it's not continuing. I don't think I'm as hurt by Big Mouth ending at season 8 than I am about fucking Wheel of Time just being canceled after 3 seasons because Big Mouth got its run, it ended on its own terms, and it had a fantastic finale. Wheel of Time got fucking shafted.
It did. It really fucking did. Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah,
yeah.
Big Mouth was great. Dude, I think my favorite new show that we watched this quarter, even above the studio, was Common Side Effects.
That was a beautiful one. Yeah.
I fucking love that show. That show like affected me. That show was so good.
The animation was gorgeous. The social
Yes.
commentary was on point.
Yup.
Like, yeah, I loved it. Fucking loved it.
That was the probably the new show that I enjoyed the most with you this quarter, and now we go 180 and we go to the thing that I probably enjoyed the least that we watched this quarter, Wicked.
My God, I memory hold it already, bro. Holy shit.
Not as bad as Twisters, but the fact that I'm even bringing up Twisters tells you how bad it was.
Twisters should be its own genre of film. If I come into an office and I'll be like, I want to make a Twisters. If you don't tell me, get the fuck out of my office, I know you're the sleaze bag that I want to work with. Holy shit.
You're like, I want to make a Twisters. And they're like, okay, so we are going to have a completely soulless film that is based on a really, really good film from a long time ago with none of the soul, none of the passion, a bunch of young, hot models acting in it. And we're going to pander really fucking hard to one particular audience. And in Twister's case, it just happened to be rednecks and like country music fans, conservatives in general, really.
That whole soundtrack was country. But we're talking about Wicked, and you were starting this, so well, why don't you tell the audience why you didn't like the movie, and then I'll like I guess chime in with my little
Okay.
sprinklings of
Okay,
commentary.
yeah. So I was very like interested in this movie. It looked really good to me. I actually really liked the trailer, and then, there was definitely too much advertising for it. Like, it got pushed way too hard. But I didn't let that sour the movie for me. I wanted to go into it, I wanted to enjoy it. And I don't know if this is like, because I know that Wicked the movie is based on Wicked the musical, which is based on a book. So it's not like, this is like an original thing and I can just blame whoever the fucking scriptwriter is for this. But whatever person throughout the whole lineage of this story made the conscious decision to just write every character not named Elphaba like an absolute villainous sack of shit, you have my ire. Because that is the
Yes.
most emotionally manipulative garbage that you can possibly do. It's like, oh, well, I want to make a version of the Wizard of Oz where the Wicked Witch of the West is the main character and we make her sympathetic. If you have to bend over backwards to this fucking degree to make your character sympathetic, just don't bother. It's not worth it. Either find more creative ways to make your villain character more sympathetic, or just don't fucking do it. Just don't write it. And I mean, I say this now when, however many decades after the fact, and you just know that whoever came up with this idea is rich and just laughing all the way to the bank at me making creative suggestions at them. But still, like, Elphaba is a great character, but you didn't need to make everyone else really fucking awful and everyone else just suck for me to like Elphaba. I like Elphaba. You don't need for everyone else to be mean to her for me to like her. And the fact that even in the ending sequence of the movie, which is the best part of the movie by far for me, was the very ending where Elphaba is on her broom singing Gravity. Fucking incredible sequence, but it still rings hollow because she went to see the Wizard of Oz to try and help talking animals, get their rights back. And not only did she not achieve that goal, but she actively, now this was unknowingly, but she still actively caused harm to a bunch of animals. Specifically, she created the flying monkeys, which was extremely painful for them because they literally grew the wings out of their backs. And even after the wings were grown, they were still in pain from having them. So she goes here to try and get more rights, trying to basically stand up for talking animal justice. And not only does she fail to achieve that, but she harms a bunch of animals in the process and then just runs away, leaving the fucking fascist government behind to do what they please and start a literal witch hunt for her. Like, this, I feel like this movie just failed on every single level. And I understand that there's going to be a part two, and we're probably even going to watch part two. But my God, did I hate part one?
It sucked. That's my commentary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, I've never traditionally liked musicals. I was starting to turn a corner. I even told you that if there's any positive that this movie did, it made me even more hyped for Has Been Hotel season two. And I'm honestly looking forward to when that's close enough where we can do our rewatch of season one. Because there are still times where I'll go back and I'll listen to the songs from season one. That's how fucking good it was. And again, this is me. If you guys know me, like you know what a big deal that is. I will not be listening to any of the songs from this movie. I will try and forget this movie. I already did successfully forget this movie until this question. So thank you, Rotten Butter, that I have to do the work all over again. But yeah, I was bored for most of it. I think I'll say here what I said back then when you, me, and your mom finished watching it. I think the people I would give the most credit to are the costume designers and the set designers because the film visually is a fucking feast. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
You really do feel like you're in Oz. Everybody else though suck ass, or maybe actually suck less ass because Yeah, Ariana Grande's character, I couldn't fucking stand her. What was it? Glinda? Fucking yeah, Glinda was
Yeah,
annoying as shit.
yeah. She was Gullinda, and then a goat professor that she was rude to mispronounced her name as Glinda. And even though she was rude to this goat professor, after the goat professor got taken away by authorities, she was like, "Oh well, now's time to make it about me. So I'm gonna rename my actual like government name from Gullinda to just Glinda because that's what the goat professor that I didn't even like called me."
I gotta tell you because Chris was on and you need to know this. You pop me so when you said time to make it about me. It's times like this that I really want to believe in multiverse theory because there needs to be a version of you that's just an unapologetic douchebag. I want to be friends with him so bad because your delivery on things when you're not even trying or when you're just barely imitating being a douche, it's just perfection. I need it in my veins yesterday. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Hey,
the
douche action.
Galinda character, the Galinda slash Galinda character, was to me easily the worst part of the whole movie. Like there was a lot bad about this movie, but she was just the fucking worst.
If only she had your charisma, I probably would have been more into it. Oh my
I
god,
still
that's
never
not me
forget
forward.
when she was singing that popular song, talking about how she's going to help Elphaba be popular, and she said something about how it's going to be because of me. Like she's literally just trying to return a favor to Elphaba because Elphaba did something nice for her without expecting anything in return. And Galinda was like, "We can't have that. I can't be owing anyone anything. So I'm going to help you to become popular. And once we do that, then everyone will know that it was because of me that you're popular. Like you get to, even though you already did me the favor and this is just me returning the favor, I'm going to actually double down and you're going to owe me something then. You're going to owe me gratitude."
I know I talk a lot on these when we get into a conversation, and I've tried to be. That's why I just said, like, oh, I thought it sucked and leave it there. But I have to say this since we're talking about her. She is one of the worst friends I have seen in a long time portrayed in
Oh
media.
my god, I
Because,
know. And then we get to the wizard, and the wizard
yes,
is like
yes,
fully like removing his mask, like, no, no, the animals are losing their rights because I want them to lose their rights. And Glinda's like, hear him out.
it was like, maybe let's see where this is going. Um, and then, and then when God, she is such a piece of shit. When Elphaba is like, this is wrong, I'm leaving, she's still up until like she finds her, she's like, what are you doing? You're ruining everything.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like, what are you saying to me
But
right
this is
now?
what I mean though. This is what I mean though when I say that in order to like make the movie work, they had to bend over backwards to make everyone awful except Elphaba. And I'm like, you really didn't need to do that. Elphaba's cool. I like her. You don't need to bend over backwards to make everyone else suck this bad.
The only villainous character that I like that was really just meant to be that from the jump was Michelle Yeoh's character because I
Yes, and that's the thing is I liked her. She seemed cool, and then they had her turn heel in the end.
and look, you know me, and it's for a lot of reasons, but I enjoyed the heel turn, and I'm like, you know what?
Of course you did.
Because no, I gotta say, as an actress, just thinking about the performance, she really was the most authentically menacing. I'm like, I actually fear you a little bit, and
The
I
like
like
little
it.
address that she did to the flying monkeys, telling them to
Yes,
go
dude.
after Glinda or to go after Elphaba. Yeah.
Yeah, Glinda. I mean, something a house would. It was so I'm like, what do we do? Like that dude, that popular song. That's when I think she was dead. To be honest, I'm like, no, I know where this is going. She is not going to change at all because when you sing how much of a douchebag you are, which first of all, how dare you? Okay, because that should be sexy to me, but you ruined it. You ruined it, Glinda. And then when you do that, and it's like, it'll be because of me. I know I'm not nearly as good, but then again, I don't have to put a breathy voice on. I mean, this just is what it fucking is. Um, yeah, like what are we doing? This movie again, nothing is worse than Twisters. And thank God for every horrible movie that happens from now till the end of time because unless you somehow manage to be worse, God help you. You're going to be okay because Twisters exists. Twisters is quite literally the floor. But yeah, that movie, wow. Wow. Again, credit to the set designers and the costumers because they earn their fucking money. Everybody else, though, I'm like, I think this set back my love on musicals, which is such a shame because I was really starting to turn a corner. But Wicked ruined it. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
It's fucking movie, bro.
Moving
Yeah,
on.
please,
We
please.
watched the first 5 episodes so far of Rick and Morty season 8. This has been a really strong season so far, in my opinion.
That Easter episode, that's the first time I've really been in it. Like it's been
Yeah.
good, but I'm like, this feels like a classic Rick and Morty, like pre Justin Roiland being outed as a piece of shit. That was great. I love that crazy energy of that episode.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Uh yeah.
Um, already talked about the bear, right?
Yes, we're that's still in progress for us, yes.
Already talked about dun 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 dun. Dun.
Yes. Oh god, I love that one. Oh my god.
Here's one that is kind of along those same lines because we rewatched it right around the same time because we're getting season 2 very soon. We did rewatch season 1 of The Sandman.
That's true. That's true, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a shame that the creator turned out to be such a sack of shit because it is a fucking incredible property, honestly.
See, unlike Wicked, where I only gave credit to a certain portion, I will give credit to everybody that made that show possible, except for the piece of shit. And like, yeah, that is some dark shit. If you guys don't know what Neil Gaiman is like roped in, I think that New Yorker did a profile on it, and it's pretty fucking haunting. A lot of rape and a lot of non-consensual sexual violence. So yeah, I was going to say cool is like a put off thing, but like I don't even want to say that because I don't even want to give the impression that I'm endorsing it. No, it's just skeevy as fuck. But everybody on the show really deserves their flowers, and you know that the Netflix probably would have had it go on longer if not for that. Either that or budget issues, but I definitely think it's the more Gaiman controversy stuff because it is a gorgeous show to look at, and the acting's pretty strong too. So
I
yeah,
also just
definitely good
love
stuff.
the world, like the world
Yes,
building, the lore, that kind of stuff. I think is so fucking cool. It's
absolutely.
honestly like I'm starting to realize how much I love that aspect of fantasy
Yes,
because like the world building of the Sandman and the way that they like kind of explain things that we are just used to in a way that's like these things go on behind the scenes is so cool to me in a similar way to Undead Unluck.
yes,
Because like Undead Unluck has that aspect too of like everyone just kind of goes about their daily lives not knowing all of this crazy shit that's going on in the background. You know, it's like a similar aspect
yes.
to that. I love that. Like, if there is a genre that encapsulates that, give me everything from that genre because I fucking love that shit.
Absolutely. Hmm.
So I think the only other stuff that we've watched together that hasn't been touched on has been, and really I shouldn't say stuff because it's just one thing. The first 3 episodes of Ironheart we just watched last Tuesday, like this past Tuesday.
Yeah, and I'm digging it so far.
Yeah,
I'm definitely
I'm
digging it.
very much excited for next week's episodes because it sure does seem like Mephisto is finally going to make his MCU debut. And from what I understand, Mephisto will be played by Sacha Baron Cohen. And I just need to see it. I just am so morbidly curious about how that goes.
I want to preemptively congratulate Eric Voss for being able to sleep again. Good on you, bud. Be
You are
great.
not joking.
Yeah.
Some other little stuff that I watched without you this quarter, John.
Yes.
Way back in like maybe even like the end of March, but after our last Q&A, my mom and I watched The Lorax together. That's a good fucking movie. It's got a good anti-capitalist message. I dig it. It's pretty damn strong.
Yeah.
I watched Homeward Bound on Disney Plus. Still haven't gotten around to watching the second one, the one that's they're going to San Francisco. Um, Watched Hamilton again. I Hamilton is just forever a part of me because every now and then I'll just randomly start getting one of the Hamilton songs stuck in my head, and next thing you know I can't get that out, and then it bleeds into another song, and that bleeds into another song, and next thing you know I just have to rewatch the whole musical all over again, and that's what ended up happening to me back in April. um Also watched The Bad Teacher with my mom. That's a cute movie. I don't know, I like it.
Nice.
Cameron Diaz, Jason Segel, um Justin Timberlake, um Lucy Punch is good. I like her too.
Yeah.
And then I did. start an anime, but I never really got around to finishing it, called Heaven's Design Team, and it's a cool one. I like it. It's interesting. I got through maybe like 5 or 6 episodes, and that was cool. I don't know if you've heard of that one at all, John.
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Yeah,
But
it's very like self-descriptive. Like it's called Heaven's Design Team, and the whole gimmick is a design team in heaven creating things that we, having already lived on Earth for however many years, are already familiar with. But it's like we get to see the process. It's like the first episode, they're like, God wants us to make something that can eat leaves from tall trees, and they come up with all these different ideas. And one of them thinks of a deer with a long neck, and it ends up having like a pulmonary embolism or some shit like that because its heart isn't strong enough to pump the blood up through its long neck to its head. So they have to like then they try and like just give it really long legs, and it just fucking collapses because it can't hold its own body weight. So they're like, okay, well, let's go in between. Let's give it medium length legs and a little bit of a longer neck, and it just works out. And it's like, oh, let's also give it horns on its head so that it can regulate its body temperature in its head better, and let's give it spots so that it can camouflage and shit like that. And it's like basically, okay, they're building a giraffe. Like it's a cool like little like here's the process for how this animal got made in heaven kind of thing. It's really cute.
very nice.
Um, I watched a Lindsay Lohan movie for the first time in years. Also, around that time too, it was Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. I don't know if you remember that one or not.
That one, yeah.
What did you say?
I said I've heard of that one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
yeah.
That's about it though. The other big one that we did, my mom and I did the first season, and then you joined us for season two, Shrinking.
That's right. That one. See, that one. Really, it really was just like a forgetting thing. Beautiful fucking show. I think I cried definitely once during the second season, maybe twice. That beautiful, beautiful fucking show.
I think Shrinking, um, might be above Common Side Effects for my favorite show that I started in 2025. I love Shrinking so much. And again,
Yeah,
like I mentioned, Common Side Effects changed me. Shrinking also changed the way I think about certain things. It really did. Because you probably know this about me already, but I don't know if everyone watching right now knows. One of my biggest pet peeves in visual media, whether it's movies or TV shows or whatever, in storytelling in general, one of my biggest pet peeves is when the conflict could be resolved with a simple communication, conversation, discussion, whatever. If the characters are only having whatever conflict they're having because they're just not talking to each other, fuck you. That's lazy writing. Go fuck yourself.
yeah,
And Shrinking will absolutely still kind of sneak up to the edge of these characters just need to talk and then everything will be better. But they almost always resolve it. It's almost always actually just they fucking talk to each other and the shit gets resolved. And I just love that so much. Um, the acting in Shrinking is also fantastic. I've never been that big of a fan of Jason Segel, but this show has made me a fan of Jason Segel.
yeah.
Um, I also have found some new actors and actresses that I absolutely love. It's also given me a newfound appreciation of Harrison Ford. I've never been that big of a Harrison Ford guy, but Harrison Ford in Shrinking is incredible. I fucking love him in this.
There are people that are calling this the role of his career because, like, it may not be having the same visibility as like Indiana Jones, say, but like you can see the range he's able to put in it. That Thanksgiving like thank you speech that he gives towards
Yes.
the end of the season, fucking. I think that's one of the parts where I teared up, bro. He fucking ate that shit. Uh,
Yes.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah. I love the woman that plays Alice. She's fantastic. The woman that plays Liz, her name is Krista Miller. Fucking love her. She's amazing. The woman that plays Gabby is another new one. I've never heard of her before, but her name is Jessica Williams, and she's incredible. Um, the dude that plays Derek, Ted McGinley, I love him so much. Ted, for those of you that watch Shrinking, I doubt there's many, but for those of you that do, Ted is, or Derek rather, Derek is far and away my favorite character in the show. I fucking love Derek. And there was a point in time in season one where I was just like, he's not my favorite character, but he is the funniest. And then by like the middle of season 2, even he's just my favorite character. I fucking love Derek. He is incredible and hilarious, and
He is an aspirational vibe.
he
That's how I would
is, dude.
describe
He
it.
really is.
Yeah.
He's a and because like he is just like this super like chill, laid back dude that lets people like make fun of him and insult him and just kind of lets it like kind of slide because it's like he's confident and he's self assured. But like when something really bothers him, he doesn't just fucking blow up at it. He brings it up in a serious manner and addresses it and makes sure to communicate that it actually bothered him, and that's so healthy, and I just love it. Plus, he's just the funniest character in the show, and that's like the thing that I even believe going back to season 1. He's hilarious.
Yeah. Dude, abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. What
Yeah,
a positive model of masculinity that man is.
yeah.
Jesus.
He's like this show's Carrie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even
Yeah.
even like significantly less of like macho bullshit because like that was a big thing with Carrie,
Yeah, exactly.
and Derek doesn't fuck with that at all.
Oh man.
He's also a great judge of character because like he knew that the Mac, I think it was really into Liz, and he knew it ahead of time, and Liz just refused to accept it until they ended up doing stuff together. And even then, Derek was like, "You betrayed my trust." And I think, did he have Liz go move in with like a family member, or did she go live with Gabby at that time or something like that?
She stayed with Gabby briefly,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And it was like he just needed his space, but then like yeah, he came back around and they were, good to go afterwards. It's like, yeah, yeah, that's such a positive model of masculinity for me for sure. I love Derek.
Definitely. Definitely.
And Jimmy, it's funny cuz Jimmy, which is the character played by Jason Segel, low key is like a miniature Matt from the studio in the sense that like he's very self-destructive and makes horrible decisions almost constantly,
Yeah.
but he makes enough good decisions that he's not infuriating the way Matt is, or at least not as infuriating as Matt in the studio.
That's why I like him, honestly, because like I think he's the most human in the sense of we are gonna do reckless shit at times, some definitely more than others, no doubt about it. But like you could see how he strives to get better. And the way season 2 ended, which I won't get into just because I want people to watch the show, I thought was a beautiful, beautiful portrayal of his growth.
Yeah,
And I'm like, man, that's awesome. No, I think it's one of the most beautiful shows that's actually I would still say by and large underrated on streaming. I was gonna say on TV, but we really should get used to saying on streaming because that's just the age we're in now. Yeah, it's one of the most underrated shows on streaming, and yeah, that whole cast. I'm so glad there's gonna be a season 3 because yeah, a show works for me even if there are a lot of parts, because I know like even we talked about the bear earlier. There are some people that say like, this season's good, but it's a little too slow or whatever. I realize that like I care about pacing, yes, I care about this and that, but one of the most important things to me for how I'm personally gonna rock with the show is, do I like these characters? Do I like this world that I'm in and how these characters interact with this world? And with Shrinking, absolutely. I think I love pretty much every character. Liz might be my least favorite because at times she does get on my nerves, but even her, like I like her and she has her strong moments. And when I like the ensemble, you can pretty much do whatever you want at that point because I'm just gonna ride with you and I'd watch you guys fucking eat breakfast and read the paper. So yeah, it's a great cast,
yeah,
great cast.
dude, it's crazy
Uh,
too because we literally went right from common side effects to Shrinking. Like we went common side effects 1 week, and then maybe even later that same week we got into Shrinking.
that's wild, yeah.
Just back to back excellence. It's incredible. I
Yes,
think I'm pretty much out, honestly. I think I'm. Oh, you know what? I'm not out because in April, my favorite girl group, XG, performed at Coachella 2 weekends in a row. And then, more importantly, in May, they sold out the fucking Tokyo Dome and put on an unbelievable show.
them. They're taking over the world, man. It's beautiful to see.
They have like made it in Japan.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
strictly in Japan, they're all the way having made it. Like they're there.
Yeah, definitely.
They're doing fucking merchandise. They're doing sponsorships. They're doing fucking commercials for products. They are fucking everywhere in Japan. They are a huge deal in Japan. I
Yes.
still want them to get bigger in the US because, like, to this day, I've only ever heard one of their songs get played on the radio more than once. I have heard one of their songs get played on the radio exactly once, and I've heard one of their songs get played on the radio more than once. And the song that they've had that got played exactly once on the radio, I was lucky to be driving home at the right time and listening to the right station that I was able to hear Something Ain't Right on the radio one time. And it was like a fucking transcendent experience because I heard the very beginning of it and it was just like this little and I was like, oh
Yeah.
hey, this kind of sounds like Something Ain't Right. And then it was, and I was like, holy fuck. And it was
Yeah. Yeah.
incredible. But the only other song that I've ever heard play on the radio that was by them was the song that I discovered them through, which is Left Right. Left Right was on the radio a decent amount back in 2023 when it came out. But since then, I've literally only ever heard the Something Ain't Right play one time on the radio and no other of their songs. I've ever heard any of their other songs play on the radio. It's insane because they are fucking hit makers. Like they make bops every single time, and even their songs that are slower, like R&B type songs, you would almost expect to hear those on like the more like hip hop R&B stations because they're so authentic.
Time will come in the US, I think.
I
You know,
sure hope
yeah.
so. I sure hope so. You would think that like because they did really well at Coachella because there was this whole thing with Coachella where they performed 2 weekends in a row, and the first weekend there was like a controversy. Like people thought they were lip syncing. People were under the impression that they were lip syncing. And so what they did was for week 2, they turned the backing track way down, and the two youngest girls in the group, Maya and Kokona, would randomly change up what they were saying in the song to make it very abundantly clear that they were like the mics were fucking on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like they knew, they heard the criticism and they fucking clapped back hard.
Yes.
It was awesome. Yeah. So yeah, that's like the big thing for me musically this quarter was just getting to see XG live on YouTube on both Coachella and the Tokyo Dome, which like God, that's so cool. I love that we have sort of the experience as wrestling fans to know how big of a fucking deal the Tokyo Dome is.
Yes, absolutely, dude.
Like even New Japan only runs that shit once a year, you know?
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, I think that's about it musically though. I haven't very really had a very eventful quarter on the music front. I've been doing more gaming, I think, this quarter than listening to music in my free time. And
Right.
that's again, that's mostly been Pokemon Scarlet, and before Pokemon Scarlet, it was mostly modded Minecraft. So I think we're done here. I think we can move on to our second rotten butter question, which is if you too were in the Undead Unluck universe, what would be your negator powers?
But jeez. It's funny because I do feel like I'm unlocked, but I want to give a more original answer.
Well, you got to remember though, Unluck doesn't have bad luck. She gives bad luck to whoever touches her.
True.
She negates luck.
I think given my disability and given that my disability is muscle tightness, I think my power would be like if you come in contact with me and like you like touch me or whatever, like offensively, your muscles get like weaker or whatever, and your movement becomes stifled. I think that would be
Ooh,
my negator.
I
Yeah,
kind of like that actually. That's cool.
yeah. So I think I'm gonna go with that.
Unstrength
Yes, essentially yes.
or unpower or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
I love that. That's dope.
yeah.
Oh God, I have no idea what mine would be. I love yours. Yours is so good.
Yeah, I just thought go from personal experience and extract from that.
Yeah. I do like the power of the one dude in like the very first couple episodes that gets killed almost right away by undead by his fucking finger bullet.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to remember what what was that power that that guy had.
I forget what it
Um,
was called. Um, hmm. Let me see if I can find a good answer. Because if I remember correctly, the dude was in like a big suit of armor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it wasn't Void Volks, was it? I think it was actually. I think it was Void Volks, and his power is un. Let's see, Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Unavoidable. There we go. I like that. Unavoidable.
Yeah.
And negates his opponent's ability to avoid by taking control of their muscle movement as he enters an attack stance. Since he's only halting the muscle movement, he cannot fully nullify regeneration, and his opponent is still able to counterattack. As soon as his hit connects, the effect ends, and the target can move through me freely again. So yeah, I'll just be unavoidable. I'm not going to come up with something unique for myself. I'll just take the unavoidable power from Void Volks.
Fair enough. And final rotten butter question.
Oh boy, here we go. Have you ever had a dream that you had you would you could you'd do you once you could do you so you do you could you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
What is this a reference to?
It's a reference to a little boy trying to read a script and failing miserably at it.
But like as a general thing, or is there a specific
No,
video of
like you
this?
gotta
Or thing?
understand, he literally just transcribed what the little boy said word for word, and that's why there was so much stuttering and shit in it because that's literally like the little boy in the video says it exactly like that.
Well, don't quit your preschool, kid.
It's ancient. It's from probably 20 years ago, so the kid's probably an adult now.
Well, don't try again, kid.
Uh, First and only question from Abel: have you acknowledged your tribal chief today?
I acknowledge Jacob Fatu every day. What are you even saying to me, son? And
I
plus, yeah,
am prepared to acknowledge Roman Reigns when he gets back, but until then, I don't acknowledge absentees.
yeah. Who do you think you are, my father? Fuck you. That's to Roman, by the way, Abel. Obviously, you're precious. Next question from Abel.
No, that was the only one. Next question is from Mark, and then we did get a set of four from Alex Foster to close the show out.
Okay.
Mark's one question was how, or not how, is it possible that all professional wrestlers are actually severed employees and that their characters are just their innie?
I love that, Mark. Mark S, I give you an A plus plus for originality, and I'm going to say yes, that's entirely possible because I love the question that much.
God, I can't wait to watch Severance. Anyway,
Yeah, you should, because I need to talk to your face about it.
nice. All right, our Alex Foster questions are next. First up, if you guys were on a bonus episode of Who Killed WCW, what failures in company history would you blame each other for?
Blame each other for? Uh, but I
I'm
don't know.
blaming John for not being good enough, not being old enough, not being born early enough to save WCW from itself.
Yeah, and I really like Ashton's face. I don't really know, like, I know sometimes I can blame him for things unironically, but the things I blame him for are so unhinged that you just know on its face it's untenable. What would I blame you for?
Blame me for being a Goldberg fan because he actually killed their ratings.
You know what? Yeah, fuck you. Get better taste. We got there.
I
We got
fucking
there.
loved Goldberg, and if you actually look at the numbers, his title reign was the thing that was happening when WWF made their comeback and started beating WCW again.
Fucking bald ass. All right, next question.
Second question from Alex: what other sitcoms should be remade today, like Bel Air or Full House? I mean,
Well,
The Wonder Years sure was fucking fantastic while that was going.
I was gonna bring it up and you already wounded yourself. Okay. Um, you know, different strokes. Let's do another different strokes.
Ooh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's an interesting thought. I don't know if that would really get over today, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know, like,
Because it's
because
basically just the blind side, right? Because you've got an old rich white man housing a couple of younger black men. I guess it's not the blind side because he's not like actively taking advantage of a particularly skill like they had to get more money or anything.
Listen, I'm just saying, as somebody that is very proudly 5'2", we need more short king representation that isn't just Peter Dinklage. Okay, we need a new different stroke somehow. We'll figure it out. So I'm gonna say different strokes. I know that it's wrong and
Oh
full of
my
holes, but
god,
that
but
makes
we've
it into what I
twisted on
want.
its head. We have the old man be the short one, and he's played by Robert Reich.
My God, this is why you make the big bucks. Holy fucking shit. Uh, what's your answer? Because I know all the holes in it, but it makes me want to double down. So I'm sticking with different strokes.
So here's the thing. I watch a lot of shit from like the 80s and 90s that I wish would get remade today. Like there's a lot. Like even literally, I know you said sitcoms, but Power Rangers. Rather than okay, we're going to make this show using footage from Super Sentai to save us a bunch of money. Let's throw a fucking budget at an original set in the 2020s Power Rangers show where you build the cast from the ground up rather than just, oh, we need someone that can be our Trini or our Zach or our Billy or our Jason or our Kimberly or our Tommy. You build the cast from the ground up using contemporary ideals.
Yeah,
So we're not stereotyping. We're not going to have a black guy play the Black Ranger. We're not going to have an Asian woman play the Yellow Ranger. We're we're not going to have a guy play the Green Ranger and then the White Ranger, and then we find out that he has Native American ancestry and turn him into the Red Ranger. Jesus fucking Christ.
my God.
We're going to build this thing from the ground up, and we are going to. I think that what one cool thing they could do is they could, rather than, oh, we need the black guy to play the Black Ranger or whatever, you could take sort of um, the archetypes of those characters and cast them based on that. So the Red Ranger is supposed to be the leader, supposed to be calm under pressure, supposed to be, good at kind of rallying the troops and stuff like that, but also really, really good at actual fighting. Like, in 2025, it wouldn't be karate, it would be mixed martial arts, it would be MMA, it would be,
Right.
and not some of these like one of those like weirdo Joe Rogan UFC heads either, but like a genuinely good dude or a genuinely good woman. It could be a woman too. We could have a female Red Ranger. If anything, I would prefer that because it's just different, right? Um,
Yeah.
and then like the Pink Ranger. Everyone thinks of the Pink Ranger as like the eye candy, but really we should think of the Pink Ranger more in terms of like, okay, well, the Pink Ranger is very compassionate, very kind, always looking to help people out, always looking out for other people. When the Rangers are at their lowest, she's always the one that kind of tries to build them back up and remind them of what they, what good they do and what they're grateful for and stuff like that. So you use these archetypes to build an ideal casting for each Ranger. You go and you find the best person for that job, and you start it rather than, oh, Alpha, find me 5 teenagers with attitude, because that doesn't make any goddamn sense. You have it be Alpha, find me 5 young people who we can rely on to save the world, who are invested in seeing the best outcome possible for the world, and wanting to help people and stuff. And then you end up with these 5, and then eventually you can have a sixth, a Tommy character and stuff like that. This is just my idea, though. I want to have a contemporary Power Rangers built from the ground up, rather than just, oh, let's take this footage from Japan and cast a bunch of people that we can pay the absolute bare minimum to because they're young and trying to break into the business. And when they decide that they want to get paid like the absolute stars that they are, we can just let them fucking walk and recast them. Like, there was a lot of bullshit in the Power Rangers in the 90s especially, and I just want to see it get like amended, get it, kind of see it get made up for. And you could even use fucking uh God, what was the actor that played Billy Cranston? I forget the guy's name. David Yates, I think it was.
I forget his name too, so I can't
Oh
confirm or
God, no,
deny.
I don't recognize him at all. I don't know who that is. Billy Cranston actor David Yost. I got the David part right. I got the last name wrong. David Yost. Have him fucking voice either Zordon or Alpha 5. Bring people back that you can. to give them
Yeah.
roles and give them fucking paychecks because they barely got paid in the 90s. Like they're going to conventions to try and make ends meet in 2025. It's crazy. These people are like legends in the American uh culture. I couldn't come up with the right word there, but in American culture, these people are fucking legends, and they're like going to conventions and stuff, trying to like make ends meet. It's like ridiculous. Like, get these people fucking royalties for life, man. Come on.
Yes, exactly.
As far as actual sitcoms, though, Sister Sister and Smart Guy are always my go-tos. I fucking love those two shows.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good pick too.
Let's move on to our third question from Alex Foster. Do you have any talents that we don't know much about?
No. Expected you to kind of pick up the ball after I just said no. But no, I think you guys pretty much know my talents. I don't think I have any talents that you don't know about.
Huh.
Yeah.
I have to disagree with you.
Oh, okay.
Well, what talents do you think everyone knows about that you're trying to just claim like, yeah, everyone knows about it,
I
so I'm not going to
I
mention it?
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I'm a pretty funny guy, so, my sense of humor for one. Um, my bookishness, stuff like that, I think, yeah, I'm not really I don't know what talents you're thinking of that they don't know about.
Maybe I'm being a little bit like obtuse here.
Yeah.
I can admit that, but I mean, do we consider it a talent to be compassionate at this point?
Um, we shouldn't, but maybe it is.
Because
I
you're
don't know.
exceptional in that department.
I mean, I appreciate that. I'm not blushing over here. What are you talking about? Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That framing, you're not malicious for framing it that way, but the reality of it, that could be legitimate, is disturbing to me. Because I feel like imagine to just be in everyone, but it very clearly is not.
No.
Um,
Well, and that's the thing too is like all the shit you went through. If anyone in the world had a valid reason to not feel compassion for other people, someone who's been through the shit you've been through, I think most people would be like, yeah, I get it.
I think I'm a good communicator, but I think you guys also kind of know that. Well, in a way, see,
That's,
and
you
that
know
that even
what?
is kind
The
of slight
fact
of
that you
yeah.
even said that, I want to take that to the next level. I don't know anyone who is better at getting two sides who disagree with each other to understand each other and see each other eye for eye, like see each other's point of views better than you.
Only I could use that power for bigger things, but I don't know. I at times I definitely do I do like miss the mark in that. I think lately I've actually tried to improve my communication because well, you know about my friend Carly, everybody else here doesn't, but I've made this wonderful Canadian friend. Her name's Carly. She's stupendous and we've really had like a very like direct communication kind of policy and it's made me kind of reflect on my other relationships where my communication could be more direct because I'm very conflict averse because of my trauma. So sometimes I'm like, no, I shouldn't say this thing because I don't want the headache of a problem. But no, like, communication's important. um, Not much of a dancer. We know I have insufficient quantity of ass, though I'm still trying to work on my twerk. Um, yeah, you know what? I am pretty. You know what? A talent I do have that I don't really talk about enough. I'm a pretty decent rapper. At least when it comes to like the written word. I mean, on Rap Pad, I am undefeated. I actually was about to win 3 other rap battles on my most recent stint on Rap Pad, but I left because the heat was getting a little too intense. There was too much factional warfare that I was getting sucked into. But yeah, by all accounts, I should be 4-0 in rap battles. Yeah, your boy can spit some bars. So that's a talent that I'll kind of share with the group. But what about you,
You
bud?
are very like language oriented. You're really good at like, coming up with rhymes on the spot, coming up with words that I struggle with on the spot. Also, alliteration, like all that kind of stuff. You're very gifted in terms of the art of language.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
But I will say that I think is something that people knew about already.
Yes, indeed. So, what about you? What talents don't they know about you, though? Let's.
Um, that's a good question. I'm a fucking incredible driver. How's that?
You know what? I believe it. You seem like you'd be very relaxing to drive with.
I am an incredible driver. I am a very safe driver, but not in the way that like I'm boring to drive with. Like you can be in the car with me and you'll know you're safe, but you won't be bored. I'm not like driving 500 the speed limit or anything like that. Um, and if I do ever get into a pickle, I'm extremely quick on my feet and extremely reactive and just really fucking clutch behind a wheel. So yeah, I think that's a good one. I'm a really fucking good driver.
Oh, if much like you with me with compassion earlier, I really so I don't know if you'd call it a talent is what I'm trying to say, kind of how you framed your thing.
Right.
Uh, I really admire how proactive you are. Like I know your ADHD has its struggles, but the thing you guys got to know about Ashton is when he has a plan and he has his ducks in a row, like his consistency is fucking amazing. Like he is a really committed dude. Like when he knows what he's doing and he's got everything like in focus. Now, getting that focus, I know at times is probably a struggle for you, but when it's there, you execute very well. Like I think if you were to do like a strategy game or do anything that has involves any kind of strategy or planning, you'd want this guy on your team. He's really, really fucking good at that.
You know,
So I
I thought about saying that I'm just a really good problem solver in general, but I feel like that's kind of one of those things that everyone that follows us already kind of knows. And I'm a big time problem solver kind of guy.
yeah,
I think most people who watch us know that. But hey, for those of you that don't, that's I guess we can count that as another talent. I guess.
yeah. And it's not, yeah, it's not even like that's why I said like proactive instead, because it's not even just so much about like problem solving. It's just more in general, like when you want to do shit and you know that you want to do shit, and again, you have that plan. Like, yeah, you're, and really, another word I would say for it is you're very, and I think people would already know this to be fair, but you're very organizationally minded. I mean, obviously, we joke about spreadsheets and stuff like that. Like, it's just like I could have really used you in fucking high school and shit. Cause I was the guy, I fucking hated binders. I used to just shove papers in my fucking backpack and be like, it's in there. I hated keeping binders in middle school and high school. But I don't even know if you were good about it like back then, but I feel like the Ashton you are now would have really kept me on track. Like, okay, John, we've color coded these binders. This is for this. This is for this. Like, yeah, the way you organize shit, it's like that's hot.
I was
Just
that
gonna say it.
person who did all of that stuff the first week of school, and within like a month, everything was a mess.
Yeah, you know what? But at least you made like a month. For me, it's like I hear you, I hear you. Literally, I passed one binder check in my math class, and maybe this is what I should have done for all my binders because I always preferred folders. I'm like folders already exist. I don't know why I need this. So I got folders with holes in them that you put in the binders, so you get the best of
Yes.
both worlds.
Yep.
And like every one of my binders, if I could do high school over again, I would have done every binder like, look, let's just get 5 folders per binder. Like, I know it's ridiculous, but still, let's just fucking do it. And there you go. And I
Yep.
probably would have been so much better that way.
Yeah.
Been like, there you go. You got to meet people where they're at, but I really do. Your organizational skills are breathtaking. It's
Well,
really
I
amazing.
appreciate that. I do
I
tend to get
appreciate your
very
fucking face.
thank you. I do tend to get very anal about making sure that everything is in its place. That is for
Yeah, but
sure.
I'll tell you what though, bro, because you talk about things that could be in short supply in today's world. Like people are so reliant on AI, and like the only thing that's a bit off-putting to me about you in a very joking and affectionate way is the tabs. But at the same time, you use vertical tabs, right? So even that is
No,
like
I
a bit
don't.
cleaner
I
than we're
don't
gonna.
use vertical tabs yet. I intend to at some point, but I don't right now.
Course you do. Yeah, no, of course you do. Of course you want to level up there. But no, like it's because me, I'm still it's like I'm doing high school on my computer. Now, obviously it's a bit more organized, but I, as you know, am like a bookmark folder guy. And I have so many fucking bookmarks. They're not even organized by anything. They're just there. It's like have fun with that. And you just have this whole system. You're very systematic. And I
I
think we
am.
need
That's a
thinkers like
good
you
word
today.
for it. I am very systematic. Yes.
Yeah, we need more systematic thinking because I think so many people are just well, just anti-systematic. I know there's a better word, but it's not coming to me right now. So yeah, I think people already knew that talent, but I really wanted to emphasize that one because it blows my mind. But please continue. So you're an excellent driver. That was the one that we don't really talk about much. I mentioned, proactive and the organizational skills. What else is going on in that
I
face?
thought we could just move on to our final question. Honestly,
Oh, we can move on to our final question. What's our final question?
if TWitWoW had a video game, what would be the biggest thing critics would point out?
How I managed to be both the hero and the villain in the same story. Because I'm unhinged. No, I think critics would point out how it's just a really incredible text-based RPG. Because I feel like that's what the game would be. It's a fucking podcast. So like maybe you do an alternate
Mm,
universe where we live together in the same studio, but
dude,
like
no, we're
yeah.
we're definitely getting someone else to make the game for us. It's just gonna have our name on it.
Yeah, oh yeah, I guess so. So the game doesn't even have to be about us then, you're saying.
No,
Huh.
no, it's a TWitWoW video game.
I see. So it is just still a game based on the pod. So how does that
Yeah.
even work?
Well, I mean, obviously, if we're making a video game, it's going to be about how two scrappy podcasters from northeastern United States managed to take down global capitalism.
Yeah, yeah, but I still want to turn heel though. But if I turn heel, that would mean I'd be in favor of capitalism. Fuck, I'm in
Well,
a real
maybe
bind
I
here.
know that you don't actually support this in real life, but maybe your heel turn would be at the end, and it turns out you were a tanky all along.
Like, dude, that would be insane. I think like, John, we did it. Finally gonna be able to do communist utopia. No, Ashton, I am. What? And then it's like I take off the shirt and it's fucking Mao on it or some shit.
And that would, I mean, the critics would have a field day with that. They're already pro capitalism as it is, so they would just hate it. They would hate everything about it.
And then at the end, the one redeeming point of this game, the friendship, gets completely thrown out the window when John, who was unhinged the entire time, pushed Ashton off a cliff where the communist flag was planted and replaced it with a Mao Zedong flag. God damn it. Oh my god, I really need help. I don't know when you go from a cry to just straight up asking, but I think we're there. I'm like, god damn it. But yeah, no, I think a game based on this would be interesting. But you know, if anybody could pull it off, indie developers are fucking eating right now. Just find a good indie
Dude,
developer, they'll probably make something
I have
decent.
bought so fucking many indie games over the course of the last few months. And I didn't bring them up for the Rotten Butter question because I haven't played them. I've just bought them, and they all look so fucking good. And yet here I am playing Nintendo instead of enjoying all these incredible indie games that I bought. But yeah, no, they're incredible. They're fantastic.
If you play N64 games on an emulator, are you playing a Pretendo? I don't
Dude,
know.
pretendo is actually a thing. You said that word without realizing it, but pretendo is an actual thing. So basically the Wii U and 3DS uh were really good like online devices, like you could play with your friends online and stuff, using Nintendo's actual network, but they took that network down for those devices because we now use Nintendo Online, which is a different thing. But because they took the Nintendo, like the network down for the 3DS and Wii U, uh, actual people made a new network for those devices called Pretendo.
Wow. God, I'm just incredible.
It's
I
a
need to go
real
back.
thing, yeah. Like if you want to like go on like a Wii U and play the original Super Mario Kart 8 game, not 8 Deluxe, which is the Switch game, but the original Mario Kart 8 game on Wii U against your friends, you can't connect to the Nintendo Network right now to do that. You have to use Pretendo to do it.
So this Pretendo originator, are they rich?
I
Because I
mean,
could go.
probably not because it's open source.
Ew. Okay, never mind. Fuck. I was gonna go back in time and do unhinged shit, but I'm not wasting the power on that. Fuck that. Oh, other one other random thing going back to the one rotten butter question, because I watched like a little bit of it. I don't want to give up on it. I do want to get into it, but I think my brain needs to like calm down with all the other shit I want to do. I'm sure that's got to be relatable to somebody here. So I could really like dial in on it, but I'm trying to get into water polo. That was definitely something else this quarter. Um,
Nice.
and you
Yeah,
already
you
know it because I
posted.
shared the yeah.
Yeah.
I was part of the sports channel, which I only am for like in a way boxing matches and sometimes Detroit Lions football. But I'm a part of it. I can do things. Yeah.
You
Fuck.
can sports ball.
Exactly. God, yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm really wanting to turn up right now, so thankfully we're done here. So we're gonna be able to get out. Really short Q&A, guys, under 2.5 hours. That's pretty fucking crazy. Especially, I don't even know when exactly we started because I know it wasn't right at 7. So yeah, really
I can
short
tell
Q&A.
you exactly how long we've been live for. It's under 2 hours 10 minutes. We're at 2:08:41 right now.
That's incredible. Honestly, given that I've been really looking forward to us getting to our night, I have some stuff I need to do because I actually woke up at 6:30 today. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it was great, but I did shower and I feel great,
I'm
and
gonna
the house
shower
is
when we
cool.
hang up here.
That's amazing. That'll give me time to do what I need to do, and plus you'll be nice and clean, and that works for me. So,
Yeah.
all right. I'm going to save the rest of my weirdness for offline so I don't get reported. So thank you all very much for joining us. Leave a like as you file out. I'll like it. Subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any of that 12 goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Blue Sky and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all AWC. Next Q&A, because it's every 3 months, right? So July, August,
It's the
will
end of
be September.
September.
Yep, September 25th is the last Thursday of the month.
Wow.
So be there for it. Yeah, yeah, it's a thing. And so get your questions in. You know the fucking deal. I'm sure there will be a lot to talk about, and I don't even know how much of it good on the political side, but we'll see. We'll see. Anything can happen, huh? So September 25th will be the next Q&A. As far as the next commentary, you'll want to join us Saturday for Week in Review at 10:30.
Wahoo.
So until then, guys, be good to yourselves and each other. Tune in. Peace out.